reality of crime.
Y'all know the drill. We're back. Happy Monday, y'all. I'm your host, Jay with Guilty of Crime. And guys, I have been waiting to talk about the Caylee Anthony case. And every time we talk about the Florida momster, right? Jen Soto is the 2.0. I've done an episode with Jen Soto and Caylee Anthony, and we compared the two. Now, Caylee Anthony is the original evil potato. And don't think I don't get all my little props. Hashtag, by the way, guys, take your meds. All right. Hashtag take your meds. Hashtag I got lots of evil potatoes lingering around here from Jen Soto. I got some skunks, some potatoes with knives. Guys, happy Monday. Welcome. Guys, my goodness. I knew it. So I covered this about maybe 11 months ago, close to a year, and I knew it. I knew Caylee Anthony was rebranding herself, and she's rebranding herself as we speak. How does that happen? How does a mom kill her daughter and get away with it and then go on to let's just wait 16 or 17 years? The new generation won't know the difference. They won't know the difference at all. I'm going to show you. I'm not just going to tell you. She's literally trying to rebrand herself as not the killer mom that waited 31 days to even turn her daughter, to even say that her daughter was missing and then lie and get off. Guys, she has the nerve to do that, but she has the nerve to come out there and try to rebrand herself for the LGBT community and for those younger generations that don't know her. I'm not going to let that happen on my channel, so I wanted to put this out and let you all know Caylee Anthony's trying to rewrite history. She's got a memoir coming out. It's called Who Is She Really? Zero mention of Caylee Anthony, and it pisses me off. All right? And I took my meds, so I'm good. I'm just pissed off. So let me say hi to everybody, and then we'll get started. Guys, she's rebranding. She did that when the Peacock episode started. All right? Peacock episode started. She lied. Parents came out. Oh, man. And there's people in this chat that are young that don't even know this case because she's rebranding. This happened in 2008. The trial's in 2011. We're in 2026. She's like, hey, most of those idiots are either too old and don't care. We've got the new generation, LGBT. I can fool the transgenders. I can act like I'm part of the gays. Let me get in with those youth. That's what that bitch is doing. Excuse my language, but it really pisses me off. This is the original Jen Soto, all right? And she's been spotted out in the wild lately, and she did not mention Caylee Anthony. There's never been justice for Caylee. That is Caylee. And I'm not going to just jump in the middle of this. I will tell you that one of the biggest crimes of 2000 is Caylee Anthony. And we're going to talk to the judge that ruled over that case. And this is where she is. She's spotted out in the wild. If you look to the right, that was her back then in 2011. If you look back there, that was in 2025. And we spotted Jen Soto recently out in the wild as well. Well, Caylee Anthony has a lot more sightings than Jen Soto, and she's been rebranding. the last year, she's like, I'm going to be a different person. She got a nose job. She got some work done. Come on, guys. We can't let any other new generation think that she's cool or okay. All right. So let me say hi to you guys before I get too into it. Hyper Kimberly. What's up, girl? I just shipped your book today. You should have it by Wednesday. Mama Sage, good to see you. Eileen. Oh, you guys also come on in. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. If you're new here, hit the like button and subscribe with all notifications. If you're coming in or going out, if you hit the like button, it's a free way to help. Also, if you see the chance to hype my channel, please hype my channel. Thank you. All right, guys. I saw somebody. Hey, Gail, good to see you. I saw somebody. Was that you, Lisa Lynn? Your dog's going to have surgery. Well, prayers for you. I'm sure your dog's going to be okay. I've got at least, we're on our, third generation of animals at this point, together 21 years. And yeah, you just say a prayer. Your dog's going to be okay. All right, everybody. Can you hear me now? What is up, Rebecca? I hope you're doing well. Guys, shout out to Can You Hear Me Now? That's Rebecca Michelow, Corey Michelow's grandmother. If you guys would drop the link, she has her own channel and she's doing some really good things over there. All right, so that's her channel. Can You Hear Me Now? Thanks for coming and showing us love today. Michelle, good to see you. Well, guess what, guys? Some people don't even know what it means to walk free like Caylee Anthony has done. Lori Lowe, good to see you. All right, Allie, good to see you. Where'd she go? Where's your Red Bull with the nasty potato? You know, Wyatt has been in chat before, and Wyatt, I don't even think Wyatt knew who Caylee Anthony originally was because he's such a youngster, right? Mama Sage coming in hot with $4.99. Choo choo. Guess what, guys? We're gonna be here a while, so if you would help get a membership, gift a membership tomorrow. I've got I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow and a big giant dentist appointment. So I probably won't be here tomorrow. So let's get the time in today and then I'll be back on Wednesday. Good to see you, Indy, Cuff You, Kel, everybody else in the house, Mama Pearl, Edith, and I'm just randomly skipping through. Lady for Justice, Alicia, Sadie's mama, always love. Kara, good to see you, my friend. Good to see some of you guys coming back here. Oh, girl, our mystery diva, whoever. No one escapes their karma, and she's not. This piece of trash, Caylee Anthony, has to film from her car because she's too scared. She's too scared that they're going to find her house and do something bad to her. All right? So good to see y'all. Libra Cole, how you doing? The old gray goat, Amethyst. Y'all doing well. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you guys are here for a Monday. Many Mondays, there's nothing going on. I'm like scrolling through. It's the same old news from all weekend. Nothing to see. Just blah, da, 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 da. I didn't want to do that today, guys. And this is real. This is coming out. And Caylee Anthony has written a memoir that's going to be released shortly. And I'm going to tell you what it's about. But what it's not about is the victim, her daughter, Caylee Anthony, that never made it past the age that she should have. Okay, so let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Mondays are usually like, oh, just nothing going on. So I'm trying to get y'all hyped up. I almost thought about not doing Mondays and just skipping to Tuesday through Friday, but I know there's some of you faithful people that are here. Oh, we're gonna get to that, Lil Red. Don't worry about that. The faithful crime crew that shows up daily. Y'all are here, and that's what counts, all right? So come on in. Let's get ourselves in the algorithm here. Let's knock some of those things out of the way, some of that clickbaity stuff that has nothing to do with any of these cases, frankly. All right, so this is crazy. Let's do this. Here's what I'm going to do first. Let's give you a little preface. That way, if someone comes in and just so happens to say I know nothing about Caylee Anthony or Caylee Anthony, you'll have to rewind. All right. Full moon madness. Yeah, this weekend was a full moon, I think. It was beautiful. We were out at a food festival this weekend and we stayed until it shut down at 10 p.m. and it was nice. It was nice out there. Yeah, but she's trying to rebrand herself. Oh, yeah. It's more than the money. She wants to be able to walk around and for people, this next generation, to forget that she allegedly murdered that little girl and gave her to Zanny the nanny, which in turn, to me, it means that she gave her Xanax to keep her as the babysitter to keep her calm. And I think she OD'd. She OD'd. Caylee Anthony put her in the trunk. The decomp came. The dad came in. They confused everybody. And there you go. She got off on it. To this day, Caylee Anthony is still changing her story. And she's painting a pretty picture to y'all people that don't know. All right. So I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to try my best to make sure we get this out there. When I get off here, I'm going to put it out in Facebook chats and things like that. I do not want people to forget about Caylee. She never got justice. And now you got this piece of trash mother going around rebranding. All right. And I'm pissed about it, really, frankly. Did anyone see Nancy Grace's coverage? Oh, girl, we're getting everything. I got you. For those, we haven't even got to that yet, Kelly. Let's get to it. I'm doing my own episode, going with the timeline, going to show you her TikTok, her new book, and then we'll get into that. All right. So if you've seen it, you haven't seen it this way yet. Justice for Caylee Anthony. You guys throw prayer hands in chat, please, to get the likes up and get people in here. All right. Her stories remind me of Taylor Parker. No diagnosis for these sick, demented whack jobs. Oh, listen, though, that's not the only book, Mo. There's so many things that I don't think that even I knew about until today that I was doing this. I was covering. I was like, are you shitting me right now? So that's why I wanted to let everybody know. Yeah, throw some prayer hands, guys. Thank you. That helps. Not only does it help to get in the algorithm, but we really do want to, we don't want to forget Caylee Anthony and what brought us here. She should not be forgotten. All right. Yeah. See you next Tuesday. Oh, but we're going to be pissed because we're going to see her out there like a cockroach today. All right. So many sightings out in the wild. So let's not forget what we're talking about. Caylee Anthony is our victim, and Caylee Anthony is rewriting history as the victim. All right. As a matter of fact, she's the victim and she doesn't even mention Caylee's name. How do you write a book about yourself? What the biggest thing that ever happened was your daughter died while you went out and partied for 31 days and then told a bunch of lies. You got off and you forget to talk about your daughter. She is such the victim. All right, let's get to it, because for those of you that know nothing about this case, I'm going to spend a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes, just showing you what the hell happened. Also, it's an old case, so you might forget some of the things that piss you off as much as I do. Now, biggest story in 2000s, Caylee Anthony, West 2, Florida. Now, West 2, Florida is the exact same. This is the exact same news station that covered Jen Soto, Madeline Soto, and Stephen Stearns. All right. West 2 turned 70 years old. And 1 month ago, guys, the reason this came back out, the biggest story of the 2000s, Caylee Anthony, do you want to know why it came out 11 months ago? Because that's when we started spotting her again. All right. Wyatt's in the house. That's when we started spotting her again. So let's get into it.
A new millennium now, the 2000s.
So much happened when we jumped into this new decade. Y2K, remember waiting to see if the computers crashed at midnight on January 1st, 2000?
Yeah, and there was Florida in the 2000 presidential election. The state's hanging Chad vote.
Now, I want you guys to remember that we're coming in with just a quick preface to the story, but everything is new. So if someone comes in chat and says, this is an old case, Jay. No, it's not. It's an old case with new things. All right. And who cares? We care. We care because we want to make sure nobody's out there buying her memoir. And none of these people in chat, none of you guys that are in this generation, you don't forget what she did, because she's rebranding herself as an advocate, as an LGBT member, as a supporter. This bitch is off the hook. That's why we care, Betty Joe. That's why we care. We do care. Hell yeah, we care. I covered the Madeline Soto case for almost 2 years. I care. I compared her so many times to this woman, and now I'm going to show you who I compared Jen Soto to the whole time.
Voting system really jump-started the era of questioning ballots.
But when we focus in on Central Florida, there's one story from the 2000s that to this day will get people going. One of the most talked about criminal cases in Florida history. Caylee Anthony.
This is Orange County Utilities Emergency Dispatch. We found a human skull.
In the summer of 2008, the disappearance of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony sparked a media frenzy. First here in Orlando.
Searching for a beautiful 3-year-old Florida girl.
And across the country.
You see how young Nancy Grace was there? Everybody seemed so much younger. Let me turn off the subs so you can see it.
Caylee was reported missing on July 15th, a month after she was last seen. For weeks, questions surrounded her mother, Caylee Anthony. Why she waited 31 days to report Caylee missing and what really happened during that time. The case quickly became a real-life soap opera. Some of the key players include Caylee, her parents George and Cindy Anthony, and then there was Zanny the nanny, Zenaida Gonzalez, an innocent woman Caylee said had been babysitting.
Zanny the nanny. And don't worry, today you're going to get a complete episode of the entire picture, all right? I'm glad you watch every minute. I'm glad you love Nancy. I'm glad you flip and care. It does matter. As soon as we hop up until today and who her followers, guys, she has people on Substack paying to follow her. All right, she's gaining a following.
Caylee the night she disappeared while Caylee was clubbing. The story dominated our news for months. And then there was the 911 call heard around the world.
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
That's Cindy Anthony calling police to report her daughter's car. Samples taken from the trunk showed possible traces of human remains.
You'll be looking at the ground. Make sure you see anything.
Searches took place all across Orlando for Caylee. Law enforcement, private search teams, even volunteers. But on December 11th, 2008, it was a meter reader named Roy Kronk who found what remained of the missing girl just down the street from her grandparents' home.
Noticed something that looks white, and there was, I don't know what it is. I'm not telling you it's, Caylee or anything of that nature.
WESH 2 was there when Caylee was taken into custody and charged with Caylee's murder. The spectacle would continue for another 2 years leading up to Caylee's trial, with a jury brought in from the Tampa area to hear the case.
You will have no trouble concluding.
WESH 2 provided wall-to-wall coverage of the case from the Orange County Courthouse.
Murdered by her mother.
Prosecutors painted Caylee as a young woman who grew tired of motherhood and suffocated her daughter using chloroform and duct tape.
She has a presumption of innocence. She is innocent until or unless.
Now, mind you, there's the old school version of Jose Baez. Okay, she definitely, and I'm not going to say allegedly, but I guess I should. She allegedly slept her way out of this case. I'm going to tell you right now, there was rumors going on that she screwed her defense team. And then after she got released, she moved in with the people that helped to defend her. She's in some little house hiding out. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up.
Proven guilty.
Attorney Jose Baez, a relatively unknown lawyer from Osceola County, became a household name defending Caylee. The trial was just as wild as the investigation of Caylee's death. In opening statements, Baez told the court Caylee had drowned in the family swimming pool and grandfather George disposed of her child's body to cover it up. The trial lasted just 6 weeks, and after just 10 hours of deliberations, the jury delivered a stunning verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
The country was left divided as Caylee Anthony was acquitted of murder, but found guilty on lesser charges of lying to law enforcement. Jurors would later say the state didn't prove its case.
She's young and cute. If you're young and cute in America, you can get away with murder.
The reaction was immediate and emotional, with protests and outrage spreading across Central Florida and beyond. After the trial, the spotlight continued on Caylee, but to this day, the murder of Caylee Anthony remains unsolved.
All right. Hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of background. Now I'm going to come down in this awesome article to just show you what we went through. And then, guys, boy, did I set up an episode for you today. So I hope that you're excited about me getting this out there and then being able to share it. Foxy, thank you for the gifted membership. If you receive that membership, please thank Foxy. All right, guys, now listen. Check this out. For those of you that, well, we're just going to document it anyway, but for those of you that don't remember exactly what happened, we're just going to do a quick rundown. Now, I also want you to remember everything Caylee Anthony touches goes to shit. since she's been out of prison for the last, 17, 18 years, what have you, she's dated several married men and ruined several relationships. She was even spotted at a bar in Florida, and somebody threw a drink on her face, and she called 911 and made a big spectacle out of it. Guys, what is she doing? What is going on here? Flojo, good to see you. I just saw you in, I don't know whose chat I was just in, but I saw you. Oh, it was down the rabbit hole. All right, let's continue. Let me run through this, and then I will move forward. And guys, the way I pieced this together is I'm showing you what happened, and then now moving forward from 11 months to 7 months to 1 month to today. All right, this is all new. All right, so this is just a quick Caylee Anthony, a complete timeline of her murder case and trial. All right, the young mother raised suspicions with her behavior after the disappearance of her daughter, Caylee, though prosecutors were unable to conclusively tie her to the toddler's death. All right, so there she is. You guys just saw she was acquitted. She can never be tried for that, and she won't. Now, in 2008, guys, this is equivalent. The world was captivated by bizarre behavior displayed by Caylee Anthony. This is what we were talking about in the Madeline Soto case in Florida. Everybody said, Caylee Anthony's still out there. That's what we were talking about. Now, listen, you'll see what behavior, getting tattoos, partying, boyfriends, having fun, all kinds of stuff. All right, all kinds of things going on. Now, she was 22 years old then, single mother from Orlando, Florida. She realized, was revealed to have spun a web of lies to cover up for the disappearance of her 2-year-old. Guys, 2 years old. The disappearance of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee, that summer. Now, the Facebook photos of her partying around town and a death of emotion in interviews fueling the charges of first-degree murder before Caylee's body was discovered later that year. However, there'd be no closure for the outraged, no closure for those outraged, me and y'all, by a mother's neglect of her child, as Caylee escaped conviction in 2011, while the questions of who killed her young daughter and why have never been resolved. So let me take you back real quick. And someone said Taylor Parker. She's right on this page. All right, let's go back to 2005 real quick, guys. We're in 2026, August 9th, 2005. Dead of summer. You guys know how Florida is. Dead of summer heat. It's a perfect time to be out swimming, hanging with your kids, what have you. But Caylee Anthony arrives in 2005 after Casey's repeated denials to other family members about her pregnancy. Now, although she suggests possible partners, including her then fiance, Jesse Grund, and another young man who supposedly died in a car accident, the identity of Caylee's father has never publicly been revealed. To this day, I think she is a secret. Is that correct? She's still hiding that. And in the new documentary, they asked and she declined, I believe. All right. Oh, Crazy Jane, I just got started here. Y'all gonna be mad. So buckle up, buckle in, get what you need to, chill out. We're gonna be here for a while. Clar, how you doing, my friend? I texted you. Did you text me back? Mwah. Thank you for the super sticker. All right. If anyone else wants to help support the channel, that would be awesome. But there are people that care, and there are people that are paying her for her Substack and to see what she does on a daily basis. All right, yeah, grab the popcorn, guys. All right, so listen, guys. In 2005, Caylee Anthony was born. May she rest in peace. June 16, 2008, Casey drives off with Caylee. All right, she wasn't even 3 years old. Caylee was raised in Orlando, home of her grandparents. You guys know Cindy and George ultimately became the center of this when Casey accused her father of saying her and possibly abusing Caylee. All right, so I think that's where the reasonable doubt came in with the jury. But The day after an alleged family argument on Father's Day, June 15th, Caylee leaves with her young daughter, Caylee, and rebuffs efforts to reconcile in person. Now, skip forward a little bit in 2008, July 15th, and the grandma, Caylee Anthony's mom, reports Caylee missing. All right. So, mind you, we're on June 15th. I'm not going to read every single piece, but after learning that a family car used by Caylee Anthony had been impounded, George, her father, retrieves the car and is overwhelmed by the smell of remains. Guys, remember the Celeste Rivas case? Think of that. He got caught because he left the remains in the trunk. The car got towed and they called the police. Okay, it smelled like trash or decomp. I think he knew better. Now, Cindy, the grandma, tracks down her daughter, Caylee, that day, and over a string of 911 calls reports Caylee missing for a month. Now, they demand Caylee's arrest and note the vehicle's odor, saying it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car. Now, her mom's the one that called it in and said that. Her mom called it in. Her dad was ex-law enforcement. He knew exactly what to do to cover the tracks. Right? It pisses me off. The whole thing about this really just, it's unbelievable. Because right after this, I'm about to show you the new Caylee Anthony. All right. Now, she was arrested the next day. Day after her mom calls in, Caylee's arrested. Lead investigators go on a wild goose chase because she can't stop lying. She takes her to an apartment where she last left her. She allegedly ran off with Caylee on the 9th. Then she went to Universal Studios where Caylee pretended to have a job. She's then arrested and charged with child neglect and lying to investigators and interfering with a criminal investigation. Such a beautiful little girl, guys. She was 2 years old. And Caylee Anthony admits to all the lies later on in the Peacock episode. All right. Days later, Caylee is declared a person of interest at the bond hearing. The hearing introduces the evidence of the cadaver dog having zeroed in on the odor of human decomp in the trunk of Anthony's backyard, in the trunk and in the backyard, as well as her mom's admission that they hadn't seen Caylee after June 9th. Basically, for 31 days, Caylee's missing. Okay, Caylee didn't say anything until the 31st day. I'm going to show you after this what she has to say about that now. She's going to tell you and me why she waited 31 days to call in her 2-year-old missing daughter. Now, mind you, she lies about everything, so believe nothing she says. Now, look at that. August 20th, her bond is posted. All right. Her California bounty hunter, Leonard Padilla, announces that he has paid the $500,000 with the hope that Caylee will lead them to Caylee. Guys, every turn of the way, Caylee Anthony, and remember, she's not pretty or anything, but she's a lot better looking than some of the people that you see in the cases. And trust me, she got off left and right. And I'm sure she got them off left and right as well. She slept her way out of this case, in my opinion. Now, I don't think she's pretty. I don't think she's good looking. I think she's an evil monster. But these people paying for her bail, these lawyers doing things for her after them bringing her to the house, I think she slept her way to the top, in my opinion. All right? Slept her way out of it, I mean. Now, bonds rescinded, all right? August 30th, not even 10 days later, the reversal comes after Caylee Anthony's arrest for allegedly stealing and cashing checks from a friend, with angry crowds demonstrating outside of her home, contributing to the decision. I came, I gave her my best shot. She didn't want to talk to me. What can I say? Padilla says Anthony will again be released after other parties combine to post bond on September 5th. All right. Although she will return to jail by the end of the month. Now let's fast forward just a few August, 2 months, and Caylee is charged with first-degree murder. All right. Jose Baez is her lawyer. That's what gave him the name. All right. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we're just going to kind of skim through this. October 24th, we got trial starting. Forensics reports from an examination of Caylee's car are released. Now, the reports note that a hair strand discovered in the trunk is microscopically similar to those of Caylee's brush, and it showed characteristics of apparent decomposition. Additionally, an air sample from the trunk is found to contain chemical compounds consistent with human decomposition. Now, if this would have happened this day and age, she probably would be behind bars. Now, let's fast forward to December 11th, 2008, guys, and Caylee's little skeletal remains are discovered. The bones, guys, if you haven't heard this, her bones were found in a bag in a wooded area less than half a mile away from Caylee Anthony's home. It was a utility worker, Ray Kronk, and it's later revealed that Kronk had sought to convince police to search the area back in the summer. So this guy finds bones and black trash bags of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony. Okay. Hey, good to see you, Lana. I like your name. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nana Rocks, good to see you. I'm telling you, man, she's got them dickmatized. If you know what that means, you know. All right. Dickmatized. All right, let's continue. I know, but we're going to fast forward to today. I'm just giving you a quick backstory because some of us forgot about this. All right. So December 20th comes, remains are found. And it says that, listen, I got to tell you this. Chief medical examiner reports that the bones showed no evidence of trauma and that Caylee's death is being ruled a homicide of undetermined means. Guys, although the skull was found with duct tape around her nose, mouth, and jaw, and the advanced state of decomposition ultimately prevented investigators from pinpointing a cause of date and death. Mind you, back then, they didn't have cameras in every single spot. Now, we're pushing to January 23rd, 2009. George, her father, is taken into custody after he attempts to unalive himself. George is then reported to be despondent and possibly under the influence of medication and alcohol. That's her dad. When he is located at a hotel in Daytona, Florida, along with a 5-page unaliving himself note. I think that might have swayed things as well. Prosecutors announced their intention to pursue the death penalty, right? This is in Florida. Although the earlier court papers indicated that the death penalty would not be into play, the new notices of intent cite sufficient aggravating circumstances to justify its imposition. All right. 2 years later, finally, 2 years later, May 24th, 2011, the trial commences with defense bombshell claims. Now, I have to read this to you, and I have to factor in with you guys that I believe that they took into consideration the fact that George, her father, tried to take his own life. It just further fed into the narrative that Grandpa was sexually assaulting Caylee as a kid and now Caylee. All right. It had to just give him a little bit of reasonable doubt, the fact that he did that. All right. Well, whatever. It's magic. She's dickmatizing them. Maybe she's a chick with the dickmatize. I don't know. You make one up for us. All right. All right. Anyway, 2011 trial comes, right? Evidence is they spent shopping and drinking. Prosecution presents that as an opening statement. Anthony Caylee is getting, she's getting tattoos. She's being a party girl and she's hanging out. They put that in there. The remarks are soon eclipsed by her lawyer, Jose Baez, guys, who ultimately got her off as nothing, an acquittal. She got a not guilty. All right. In his opening statement, which asserts that Caylee drowned in the family swimming pool and that George, remember, Caylee Anthony's father, sought to cover up the accidental death. So now you've got two things coming at these jury members, and you don't know what to believe. The lead defense lawyer also alleges that George, her father, molested Caylee, thereby igniting her habit of lying to cover up pain, and that Kronk, the utility worker that found her body, planted it in the woods. That's her defense by Jose Baez. All right. Prosecution claims, look at her daughter's missing 31 days, never called it in, out partying, the remains were right by the house. And then Jose Baez comes in and he says, no. Check this out. As a matter of fact, we now know Caylee drowned and George helped cover it up. And by the way, he molested Casey. And on top of that, they kind of acted like he might have done that to Caylee as well. All right. Now, taking the stand as the first witness, her dad, George, denies that he ever molested his daughter or knew anything about Caylee's drowning. May 27, 2011, a witness offers his theory about the smell in Casey's car. All right. Simon Birch, the manager of the towing company that impounded Casey's car in 2008, testifies that he had encountered multiple vehicles with dead bodies during 3 decades in the past, and the smell from Casey's car was consistent with those past experiences. That very same day, the fiance of Casey's brother also takes the stand and describes the very special bond that she observed between Caylee and her mother, Casey. All right, let's forward June 6, 2011, and a forensic expert takes the stand. I still can't understand why she got off. Everything we're looking at is showing you what she did, and yet she still got off. And don't worry, we're going to fast forward. All right, we're getting there. All right, so anyway, forensic comes in. They say that Arpad Vass of Oak Ridge National Laboratory explains how the shockingly high amount of chloroform, a chemical released by decomposition, as well as the one that can be used to knock someone unconscious, was detected in the car trunk that led to his conclusion that a dead body was indeed present. However, guys, his testimony is contradicted by the following day by an FBI scientist who compares the chloroform level in the trunk to an amount found in household cleaners. All right. 2 days later, the jury ponders the relevance of the search engines. They look up that she had looked up chloroform 84 times. She looked up head injuries, ruptured spleens, chest trauma, and internal bleeding, all on the Anthony's home computer in March 2008 during the regular work hours where George and Cindy were gone and Caylee Anthony was there. All right. They later, the designer later reports an error in detecting the software and determines that the user visited a site related to chloroform only once. Right. So that's her mom and dad supporting her back then. They don't talk anymore. 2011 June, Cindy goes and refutes her previous testimony in a crucial day for the defense. Cindy claims that she was the one who researched chloroform on her computer. She also testifies that a stain found in the trunk, allegedly caused by Caylee's decomposing body, was there when the family purchased the car 8 years earlier. So not only did her mom call 911 and originally get her arrested, but now they're on trial denying these things and lying for her. All right. Day before 4th of July, 2011, both sides present the closing arguments, continuing the narrative that Casey was overly burdened by Caylee. Lead prosecutor Jeff Ashton emphasizes to the jury how the young mother was motivated enough to go to extremes to achieve her freedom. Something needed to be sacrificed. That something was either the life she wanted or the life thrust upon her. He says she chose to sacrifice her child. Now, her defense comes in. While forbidden from revisiting the unsupported molestation claims, Baez nevertheless delivers an effective closing argument by pointing out the lack of evidence that could definitely place Caylee's body in the trunk or tie Caylee Anthony to her daughter's death at all. Justice for Caylee. July 5th, guys, Caylee is found not guilty of murder. After 6 weeks of testimony and 400 pieces of evidence presented in court, the jury of 7 women and 5 men take less than 11 hours to reach a not guilty verdict. On July 7th, Caylee's sentenced to time served. She receives a 4-year sentence with the $4,000 fine. Then July 17th, 10 days later, she's released from jail. She exits the Orange County Jail shortly after midnight, passing approximately 100 protesters, the ones you see here, that were demanding justice for Caylee. All right. It's my hope that Caylee Anthony can receive the counseling and treatment she needs to move forward. Blah, 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 blah. Lawyer statement. Yeah, whatever. All right. Now, let's fast forward to 2025, 2026. All right. Now we're up until today. Right? Did everybody know this? Put a 1 in chat if you knew all about this. Just put a 1 if you already knew all this and you're ready to move forward. All right. If you don't know, put a 2. I'm just curious where you guys stand on this. All right. Now, let's get ourselves back to 2025. Caylee Anthony reemerges on TikTok and Substack. All right. Let's get going. You guys need to know all this. If you know the story completely, or you don't, 1 for knowing it completely, 2 for not. All right, let's go. Now, 2011's over, trial's over. Go fast forward to 2025, and we're working our way to Caylee Anthony reemerging and reintroducing herself to the public. All right, as the victim. She's playing the victim.
Years after she was accused of murdering her own daughter.
This is my first of probably many recordings.
Caylee Anthony is reintroducing herself to the public on TikTok.
I am a legal advocate.
Without providing much detail, the now 38-year-old says she wants to use her platform to help others.
Did you guys just hear that? She's an advocate now. And if you look at her tattoos, she's got like the craziest LGBT kind of tattoo. All right. She's got like a rainbow LGBT. She's trying to get herself into that community with the transgenders, with the gay community, the lesbian. And you know why? You want to know why, guys? Because she knows, as well as any one of you guys do, that many times in the community of lesbian, gay, transgender, we're very accepting because we want people to do that with us. We don't want people judging us. We don't want people thinking that we're assholes because we're gay or something's wrong. So she brings herself into the LGBT community and to the younger generation that doesn't remember the story that I just told you. Okay, let's continue. And by the way, she did have a nose job and she had some work done so she wouldn't be recognizable. That was years ago. And she's still recognizable, but you'll see her features. She got a nose job, a little bit of a lift.
Others in a legal capacity.
I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Caylee also directing followers to new posts on the publishing platform Substack.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
Oh, you're
TikTok
a curse.
video quickly racking up millions of views, as well as drawing criticism across social media.
Caylee Anthony is on TikTok giving legal advice. Are you out of your minds?
In 2008, Anthony was charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee. Years later, in 2011, she was acquitted by a jury for the murder in one of the most watched criminal trials in history. More than a decade since that not guilty verdict, the case continues to captivate the nation.
But I'm still defending the fact that I didn't hurt her.
Caylee breaking her silence in a recent
Dude, I watched this documentary and I was fuming because all she's doing is painting a narrative for this generation and making herself the victim. We're working our way to her new book that's coming out, her new memoir. And I'm going to show you her social media and her Substack that you can't read unless you pay for it. All right. No, she didn't. She didn't allow anything. She didn't allow anything and she got away with it. Remember, Jen Soto is 2.0 Caylee Anthony. We talked about that for almost 2 years about Jen Soto 2.0 being the Caylee Anthony. I can't help to laugh when I hear her say all that. She's so ridiculous, right? She says it with authority, too, like she means it.
Series on Peacock, which is owned by NBC News parent company NBC Universal, accusing her own father, George Anthony, of killing Caylee to cover up alleged sexual abuse.
Well, I was doing what I was told by my father.
George Anthony has never been charged with a crime and has vehemently denied his daughter's accusations. Now, after years of scrutiny and the public eye, Caylee Anthony says she wants to use her spotlight to advocate for others.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people.
Okay, so Liz, that's the goal. Any indication about what kind of work she's actually going to be doing online?
Well, Craig, it's unclear what her legal background is, but in that TikTok video, Anthony says she will be setting up an email for people to communicate with her directly about legal matters. And she says she intends to talk about things like privacy rights. One of the reasons she's doing this, she says, is because people close to her have recently been targeted and attacked. And we should point out, Craig, Caylee Anthony and her parents did not respond to our request for comment. Craig.
All right, Liz Kurtzforth there in LA. Liz, thank you.
Hey, thanks. I can't imagine why they didn't respond. Clark, good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Again, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so let's all get it in today, guys. Get it all out. Hashtag take your meds if you need to. Hit that like button. She is such a fake. Guys, don't worry. We're only 45 minutes in, and I have an entire story that I'm breaking down for you right now. And of course, I don't put an episode on and play it. I put a timeline together and I put everything so we can go from then until today. So I wanted to make sure that I documented it properly. All right. So I'm going to put this up for a second and tell you about her new book, because that's her advocating and she's got a memoir. All right. And then I'll show you her social media next. Now, listen, this book is Caylee Anthony writing it as an American woman who became the center of a mass media frenzy. And she was acquitted for the 2008 murder of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee Anthony. Now, it was highly publicized in 2011. The trial ended. Controversial verdict polarized the public. Y'all that are in Florida are pissed. All right. Now, the trial delay, the delay of the trial was 31 days. I'm sorry, the disappearance, a 31-day delay. Caylee Anthony vanished in June 2008. However, Caylee Anthony did not report her for 31 days. So the police were finally notified. During the investigation, she gave him the whole Zanny the nanny. Then a few months later in December, Caylee's skeletal remains are found. The verdict, not guilty, the conviction, and where she is now. Now, guys, she spent the entire time keeping a low profile while dating married men and getting facial work done. She did the Peacock docuseries in late 2022, and this is where she answers the question what she was doing all that time and how she's rebranding. Now, her social media rebrand launched a personal TikTok account where she describes herself as a researcher and legal advocate. Now, she uses the platform and Substack to communicate directly with her followers and attempt to reintroduce herself to the public. Now, you may ask, what reintroduce herself? What do you mean? All right, before we get to that, here she is starting to reintroduce herself and tell this generation of LGBT and all the loving community why she waited 31 days to call 911.
The latest explosive allegation to come from the first interview given by Caylee Anthony since her acquittal 11 years ago in her daughter Caylee's death. She is blaming her father for the death of her daughter.
There are more explosive revelations from the new docuseries about the notorious Caylee Anthony.
What do you think my question is going to be?
Why did I wait 31 days to call 911?
911, what's your emergency? My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
Once known as the most hated woman in America, Caylee Anthony is interviewed for a 3-part series on the Peacock streaming service.
I lied. But no one asked why.
During the trial, the complete 911 call was played for the jury.
Why didn't you call 31 days ago? I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her.
I mean, are you guys hearing this? Like, you can't get convicted on that alone, but you guys know how we feel. Couldn't she have got child neglect at the very least? She didn't get anything. She's off, guys. She's completely off. Her criminal record is a big fat 0. Nothing. All right? On paper, she looks great.
Stupid.
This additional clip ran on the Today Show.
The only person in this world that matters to me still is my daughter. But I'm still defending the fact that I didn't hurt her.
The new documentary is also generating headlines like this. Caylee Anthony blames her father for daughter Kaylee's death. When contacted today by Inside Edition, George said, "I am in contact with an attorney. That's all I can say at this moment." He was tight-lipped when photographers approached him today.
Do you have any comment about your daughter's allegations? George?
Now, mind you guys, we're fast forwarding. This is in 2022, the Peacock series, and then we're going to jump to 2025/2026, then all the way into 2026, a month, and then now moving forward. All right? She's rebranding herself. Everything I looked at says she's rebranding herself. That's why she's doing what she's doing. All right. MP Doctor, good to see you. Shout out to Baja. You two lost a girl. Hello. Never back down. She does. She makes all of us sick, especially the people in Florida. It hit the community hard, right? Nisa, what's up, Nisa? Shout out to you, by the way. Us queer folks don't claim that sociopath. Well, wait. Just next, you're going to see with her little rainbow flags and her, "I'm so accepting." But don't turn around because I might screw your husband or your wife. All right? She's a big fat liar and a cheater, and she should have been, in my opinion, convicted of the death of her daughter. All right, there's her dad, all like 3 years ago.
Got anything to say?
George Anthony previously has denied having anything to do with Kaylee's death. Caylee Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, begins streaming on Peacock November 29th.
All right, so that's when it came out. You guys could go back and do some homework if you want and check out that this weekend, the Peacock series, if you'd like. It's good for perspective. Now, let me show you again here. Who is she really? That's the name of her memoir. And she rewrites history of what happened. Not only that, but there's zero mention of the actual victim, Caylee, her daughter. All right? She didn't get anything, guys. She's got a big fat 0. Nothing. George almost died. I know. He was wearing one of those neck braces, and they did an interview, and they did a lie detector test. And in the lie detector test, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they pass the lie detector test? All right, let's continue. So there's her Substack, guys. Let me make it a little bigger because if you're not watching it on TV, it's kind of hard to see. But look at this shit. Sorry, my mouth. Look, it doesn't even look like her. It does, but it doesn't, right? Think about a kid that's 20, let's say 20 to 30 years old that didn't know about Caylee Anthony, that wasn't in Florida, that just knew nothing about it. Straight up knew nothing about it. Okay, and they pull up Substack, and they see her, and she's advocating for the LGBT community, and she's being an advocate, and she's being a researcher, and she's just so great. All right. Hey, Sadie's mama. All right. So mind you, she's had work done here, surgery to change. She didn't change her eye color. Maybe she's wearing contacts. I didn't even notice that. All right. So that's her Substack picture. But look at her. She's the real Caylee Anthony, guys. Go to Substack and sign up for the real Caylee Anthony if you want a researcher, a consultant, an advocate, an activist, an author, an LGBTQIA plus ally. We are the resistance. We do not bow to the mediocre white men. What are you even talking about? Guys, she has 11,000 plus subscribers, okay? And she has a paid, this is paid. In order to read her stuff, you have to pay for it. So there's her new, this is her new memoir. Who is she really? Now she's got over 5,000 subscribers that are ready to get a hold of this, okay? I'm just going to put this one in so I can see what the hell they're talking about. Oh, look at that. I'm already registered. Let's try a different one. I didn't know I was registered. Otherwise, I ought to picked it up. Hold on. We'll do this one. All right. So, whatever. I don't want to do any of this. I just want to see what she's writing. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Caylee Anthony, sure. Let's see what she does. Ah, come on. I'll say. Guilty of crime. Watch them not even show me anything. She's probably just collecting information so she can send out newsletters to us. All right. Blah, 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 blah. That's what I have to say about that. All right. And I don't want to send a link. I just want to see about her stupid thing. Okay, so this is her new memoir. It's called Who Is She Really? My name is Casey. And then the frequently asked questions, is the book finished? How did we get here? Who really is she? Now look, guys, if we want to know more about this, we have to upgrade to pay. Now I could find this on TikTok, and I will, because somebody on TikTok paid for it and they put it out there. All right. So you can see who she really is, but you got to pay for it. Then you can chat with her, but you got to pay for that too. Can we even see the about us? Oh, yeah, at least we can see that. But there's nothing on here except she wants us to exclusive preview of her upcoming memoir, Who Is She Really? Upgrade to pay. And then down here again, she's got her Substack handle. And you can upgrade if you want to know more. And we do not bow to mediocre white men. What are you even talking about? All right, I'm not paying for that. I'll go to TikTok and look up who she is and do it that way. We're going to drop this because I would never give her $1. Okay, so let's go forward now and to her first introducing herself back. Now I covered this 11 months ago, and when I covered this 11 months ago, she only had a few people she was following and a few people that were following her. Now look, can you see how many followers she has? 86,000 followers and 92,000 likes. Hey, Pages, how you doing? Good to see you guys. If I got to remind you again, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership. It is June 29th, and it's almost the end of the month. So then that closes out for Guilty of Crime. So when I get to a video, I will gift memberships if anyone wants to match me. All right, now take a look at her. If you did not know Caylee Anthony, she has 86,000 followers, guys. And part of that community is the LGBT plus community, okay? And people that want an advocate and people that need help. They don't know. They just seriously don't know. All they know is she was not convicted of a murder, and therefore, oh, poor me. I had to go through all this. Now I need to redo myself. All right, so literally, now we're on TikTok, guys. She's got a shit ton of followers here, but she wants us to give her money to Linktree Caylee Anthony. All right. And I'm not going to click on all of her posts because most of them are either political, they're either politically charged, some kind of racism, some kind of LGBT shit. It's like she thinks that she's part of this world, that the people that care and love, she wants to be in that. Look at her here. She's got this pinned. What is this? The transgender flag? Down here, she's got 24,000 people. 24,000 people of her saying this month, Happy Pride. This is the time to celebrate inclusiveness of a community that is based on love and acceptance. We stand with you. We see you. We support you. Love wins today and every day. Guys, if this is not exploiting the LGBT community, I don't know what is. She sees love and acceptance. It's hard for me to say that. Acceptance and love. She sees that in the community, that we try to be as loving and accepting because we know how it feels. And yet she's trying to rebrand herself into that community. Do you think if there were other options besides the death? Yes, she would have absolutely, it would have ended up the same. Death penalty, they could have given her lesser charges, Indy. They could have got a lesser charge and they didn't. So yes, I still think this would have played out just how it did. All right. That's what I'm trying to show you guys. That's exactly what I'm trying to make my point. All right. Exactly. All right. But there are 86,000 idiots that don't know who she is. She's got 100,000 transgender and LGBTQ people fooled by this. All right. And then most of her things are talking about racism and bigotry. There's no place in our country for these media pundits who continue to attack black and brown people. I have one message: go fuck yourself. The U.S. is a country founded by immigrants, defended by immigrants. Guys, this make America white again bullshit needs to stop. What is she talking about? Like, do we even look at that left, aka leftist, liberal, woke, anti-fascism, Antifa? What is she even talking about? Okay, now here is what I wanted to show you. This is her memoir. Who is she really? All right, this is the preview to the first chapter of the memoir. It's now available on Substack. The link's in bio. I'm not buying anything, but I don't even think they let you get past that link. Let me see. No, that link is the same as, hold on, let me pull this out. It's the same as, hold on. Oh, maybe it's a different one. Oh yeah, let me do this. It is a different one, but I have to pull it up in a separate page. I barely knew that we were doing this case today, or that I was doing this case, and I was like, all right, time to get back in there. Thank you, Tiff, also for helping out. Okay, so here she is. I'm gonna put less. This is her TikTok, and there's her new memoir. How did we get here? Who is she really? This is an introduction. So she gives us a preview, guys. She wants us to buy her book. She thinks she's slick, and she gives us she gives people what she thinks they want. So let me read that to you. Are we all on Nancy Guthrie still? Come on in, guys. Come support the channel. We're up to 2026. Yeah, right? All right, so let me read to you real quick what she is trying to do. She put her parents through. They adored her. Yep, you're right. You're right. Okay, let me read this to you real quick. So, as you can see, she looks much different in this picture. Yeah. No music. All right, and then you put the more, and this is her her intro. She gives us a little preview. On Friday, May 1st, the exclusive preview to my upcoming memoir, Who Is She Really?, will be available on Substack. The project has been a work in progress since 2020 and will finally be published this summer of 2026. All the updates will be posted to Substack, link in bio. Preview my upcoming memoir, where she is really who she is really. Get a sneak peek of my memoir, Who Is She Really?, releasing summer 2026. Stay up to date, explore, and then she uses all these hashtags. All right, so let's lessen that a bit. Let me come back up here. I'm going to give you a quick, just my opinion on this book, this garbage. All right, so in this book, Who She Is, she put an exclusive preview on TikTok. She's been writing it for the last 6 years. It's coming out this summer. What the preview says, if we wanted to pay, the memoir, guys, is meant to reveal who she really is. Her own narrative of her life, the case, and the identity. She is releasing updates through Substack, as you can see. What's not in the book, related books not written by her, oh God, there's other books that came out recently. Presumed Guilty, or just over the time. Jose Baez wrote a book, Presumed Guilty. Now I remember. He wrote the book, Presumed Guilty, and it was under the assumption that he would get all proceeds from that book in order to well, we're getting, that's fine if you don't want to know more, but there is more and we want to know. Okay, so that's what happened. Jose Baez got all proceeds to her book. All right, to the book that he wrote about her. All right, then there's another Who's Caylee Anthony by Leslie Sepney, and then Caylee Anthony, Accident, Cover Up, or Murder by Netta Bound. All right, now in the preview, you can't pull up the exact text. It's just a quick summary, and here's the summary. What Caylee Anthony is signaling with this preview is who she really is. She emphasizes that the memoir will be raw, uncut, and unfiltered. She's suggesting that she intends to tell her version of events without any restraint. She also invites you guys and me to join her Substack and pay. All right. She also says it's time we stand in the light together, implying that she wants to reposition herself publicly and present her story as one of truth-telling, reclaiming her identity in this case. All right. The tone of it is personal. It's very defensive, and it's a lot of image rebuilding. She is clearly trying to frame this memoir as a moment of revelation. All right. You finally get to hear my side. In the marketing strategy, she's trying to build mystery. She's trying to reinvent herself, and she's playing the victim in this book. What's not included in this book? No actual memoir text, no chapter excerpts, no storyline details, and no discussion of Caylee, the trial, or her personal life. Can you believe that? I mean, like, what is going on? What is even happening? All right, so we're going to now 2026. We're going to spot her in the wild. All right, this was what, 1 month ago? Let's see her. And we can watch this over and over.
She was out at TJ Maxx.
Oh, hold on. That's one of her boyfriends.
I feel like she pops up now and then, and anytime she does. People are interested. Yes. People want to know what she's doing. She popped up, I think it was last year, with a new boyfriend, this guy, Ben.
Yeah,
it doesn't appear like they're still together, but over the weekend, she was out at TJ Maxx.
Come on, guys.
So here's video of Caylee. We're told she was with a couple of friends on Sunday in Lake Mary, Florida, just shopping away. And not the most compelling video if it's anyone else, but anytime it's Caylee Anthony, it's like
people are just so interested. It's just given the fact that it was just a very notable and just insane trial.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people were like horrified that she got off, and then all the things that she's done since. Here's the photo of her and this guy Ben. That caused a ton of controversy. Obviously, immediately people were like, "That guy was under fire. How could you be with this woman?" Etc.
What people look, what I was confused before we started. So he was upset that these photos initially came out of them two together, and
so I worked on the story. I don't know. I mean, he was just I think just upset with the media attention. If I remember correctly, he owned like a business, and unfortunately anyone who is tied to Caylee Anthony, it's not good for business.
Right.
So people figured out who he was, and then they were doxing his Yelp for his business. And then from what we had told, where we did some reporting of our own, and obviously his family members were not very happy that he was seeing her, and they had like kind of cut him off. But I haven't seen them together since, and I believe I had reached out to someone close to Caylee who had said it wasn't really like they were full-blown boyfriend and girlfriend.
They were seeing each other.
They were seeing each other. And I mean, anytime Caylee's out, people recognize her. She's very famous, and so they haven't been spotted together, I think, since then. So I think it's safe to say that relationship's over. But she loves TJ Maxx, because I believe we got other
That's
video
one of the main takeaways
in the past at TJ Maxx. I've never set foot, I don't think, in a TJ Maxx. What do they say? Like Marshall?
I have no idea. Like all my friends try to put me on a TJ Maxx, and like it's cheaper. I might have to check it out. I don't know, because people always talk about like the deals that they have there. So I'm somewhat familiar with TJ Maxx. I know it's like a department.
All right, I think that's it for this part. I just wanted you to see that she's been spotted in the wild. This was 1 month ago. Oof, I never enter chats, but this makes my blood boil. Well, hello. What is that? Slooky? We made her come out of the bushes. What's up? Well, guys, I really want this to get out there. That's why I'm doing this, because I want people to know that she's trying to trick people into believing that she's a victim in this case, and she's trying to rewrite history, so to speak. So again, we have 132 people in chat. As soon as I get to the next video, I'm gonna hit that like button, drop a comment, because I'm going to gift a membership. All right.
Is that actually Caylee Anthony? Obviously, it ended up being her, but no matter the haircut, like you said, one of the most famous trials in the last 25, 30 years, and very polarizing figure. So
Yes,
hope
very much so.
looked like she enjoyed her Memorial Day.
Yes.
So that's Caylee. That's our Caylee Anthony update, because I'm sure.
All right, that was a month ago, and then we get up until today, and then I'm going to show you one more clip of her 15 years after. Let me see. Oh my God, there's so many people reviewing it. It's funny. I'm glad they're reviewing it though, because it just pisses me off. Let's check this out real quick. Hold on. If you go on to TikTok, I'm glad that they're doing that, because otherwise people just forget what she did and she rewrites history and gets away with it. All right, this is funny. Here's your Auntie Nancy.
Anthony goes from maggots in her car and the smell of death in the trunk to writing a brand new memoir. I've got a pretty good idea of some chapters she's going to leave out about when her daughter was murdered. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. A brand new memoir. What?
We'll get to that. I just wanted you to see that on TikTok. If you look up her reviews, you'll be able to see who's following her. And also, if you're a true crime creator and you guys do things on TikTok, man, put a review out there. Go on TikTok, slap that out there, put yourself on a green screen and tell people, don't buy this. She's just trying to create a new persona and get out of what she did. All right. So here she is. Wait, hold on. This is what she's doing 14, 15 years later. And then we're going to continue. We still got like another hour, guys. So buckle up, buckle in. I'm also going to gift memberships right now.
Any chance you remember where you were in July of 2011? July 5th, to be exact?
Yeah,
Because I
do.
sure do. I was in the exact room that I had been in for the 6 long weeks leading up to that date. A courtroom in Orlando.
You know what's crazy about that past perfect Pam? They did take Scott Peterson off death row, and they did that because they also, it's at a stay, a moratorium. They're not doing death penalties right now, and he's just living his best life. I've seen his interviews. As a matter of fact, I can't really say much about it, but there's a person that I talked to that works at that prison, and guys, he has an easy life in that prison that he was recent a few years transferred to. So Scott Peterson, he's living his best life. All right. She didn't even work at Disneyland. She lied about that. She never worked at Disneyland. California. All right. I'm going to gift a membership. Hold on.
Florida, where Caylee Anthony on that date was tried for and acquitted of the murder of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee. July 5th was the beginning of the rest of Caylee Anthony's life, her free life. And where is Caylee tonight? I'm not exactly sure, but I can tell you that she was here yesterday, caught by TMZ on what appears to be a date in Manchester, New Hampshire, of all places. She has covered up her infamous Bella Vita tattoo. That happened a few years back, but that is definitely.
Oh, yeah. You got a big, giant, like black looking tattoo. If you watch the Peacock documentary, you remember how pissed off people were. You hate to hear what? You know how pissed off people were. Oh, yeah. About him living his best life. He plays pickleball all day. Peterson plays pickleball all day long. I don't think he's ever going to get out. He was trying to get a retrial, but he's a liar and he did it. So even if they were to get an appeal, he's still going to get convicted, in my opinion. Screw Scott Peterson too. I lived in Modesto and Oakdale in that area when it happened. That was the biggest case ever, right? You remember the Scott Peterson case, Mom? Lacey Peterson? Anyway, let's continue.
Definitely Casey right there. And whatever she's up to, 14 years post-acquittal, it's got to beat the alternative, which a lot of people really still think she deserved. Because just imagine how different her dinner would have been had there been maybe a different crop of jurors, or maybe a different prosecutor, or maybe a different defense team. But that is how the system works. And Caylee Anthony is free to come and go and live her life as she pleases, going on dates in whatever state she wants to go on with her new tattoos. And also photographers are...
Oh, she was in Miami too. I think Miami last year, guys. And that was when a girl threw a drink in her face and she called 911. All right. Crazy. It's so crazy. And I just gifted a membership. If you got that membership, come out of the bushes and come talk to us. All right. Yeah. So she's been trying to reinvent herself for the last few years, guys. I knew that with the Peacock documentary, that's where it was headed.
Free. They are free to take her picture, even more than a decade after her infamous acquittal.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our new.
All right, so I think we covered a lot of all the clips and everything that I've had. Let's put that back up for a second. And then also, don't forget, guys, we're here because Caylee Anthony never got any justice. There was never justice for Caylee Anthony. It was never served, and it never will be. The only thing that we can hope for is that she lives the worst life that she can, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it at all. All right. Oh, I know. That's crazy. I feel like Scott Peterson's sister's in love with him. She went to law school to help him. She spent her whole life doing that. She has 86,000 followers because she reinvented herself to the LGBT community, to the people that don't like Trump, to the guys. It's all just a ploy. It's all just to get us to forget about what happened. All right, I'm going to put this up so I can talk to you guys a little bit more, give some memberships. All right, so this is the one, you guys. If you didn't see it, you're going to see it now.
O.J. Simpson.
This just came out 3 days ago.
Ted Bundy, Beelzebub, Lucifer. Don't know, but it's happening. As a matter of fact, we've seen the front cover. This week marks the death many years ago of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony. Why don't we just start with the 911 call?
Oh, my daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her.
Your daughter admitted that the baby is where?
The babysitter took her a month ago that my daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee Anthony.
Let me go to a very esteemed guest joining us tonight, the judge that presided over the Top Mom Caylee Anthony murder trial, Belvin Perry Jr., former chief judge, author of The Velvet Hammer.
You guys know how many times we've covered a case that we bring this man up. In that case, we reference this man. All right, pay attention. He's a lot older.
Nice title, Judge. Judge, please, how could you sit on the bench and keep a straight face? Top Mom Caylee Anthony, for 30 days, searches for Caylee. Can we see where she was conducting the search, please, control room? There you go. Honest truth.
Guys, imagine today. Imagine that being Jen Soto when they, after someone called Maddie missing. Imagine Jen Soto being out there partying, getting a tattoo. I mean, we already know that she handed her daughter over to Stefan with no big deal. Just here you go. What are we talking about? Brian Koberger being innocent? What started? I never believed that Brian Koberger's innocent. But hello, Vincent. Hopefully you're coming on in because you like the way I present true crime. All right, because we got our mods here today. All right. Can you imagine? Exactly. This is in Florida. This is in the same district, the same county, the same everything as Jen Soto / Madeline Soto. Same news coverage, same stations. I don't think anybody that lives there will ever forget this.
Separate pole, dancing throughout the 31 days. She, quote, searched. There you go.
She should put that picture on her advocacy for LGBT. There you go. All she has to do is show some other girl grinding on her at a club. Let's go, Caylee Anthony. Who cares about what you did? Are you kidding me? The Cobra Drive. Let's continue. It makes me mad.
Yeah, I think she was looking at that girl's hot pants for Caylee. I don't know how you kept a straight face. I watched the trial, Judge. I looked at you over and over, and I could swear, yep, there's a vintage shot. I could swear you looked at me in the eye several times. I moved all over the courtroom trying to get you to look at me to see if you would like crack a smile, anything. You didn't. You were stoic. So
he's been smiling the whole time, guys. And I don't even think I covered Koberger. And if I did, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I have no tinfoil hats. I follow the rules. We go with Occam's razor first, meaning you look at a husband, lover, or close family member first, and then the last people to see someone alive. After you rule those people out, then you start looking into others. I would never even have wasted 2 seconds to defend Koberger when I saw the mass amount of not only damage, but evidence, and he pled guilty. Come on, what else do you want? Crazy. All right, let's see what the judge has to say.
Listen, 30 plus days she looked for Caylee, that girl's hot pants, in every bar in town. That was the hot body contest. Staying over with her boyfriend, what was his name? Tony Lazzaro, and all of his roommates. That's romantic. She wasn't with her grandma, Cindy, or grandpa, George. So where was she? The car had maggots in the trunk. Multiple people said it smelled like a dead body. And she made up a babysitter and said the babysitter, Zenaida Gonzalez.
Guys, this whole thing just went sideways. This should never have happened. But again, you can't retry for the same crime. She's never going to be. The double jeopardy is in full effect. And she's been running free ever since she was let out in 2011.
Made it all up. Stole Caylee.
Thank you, Dale.
I don't know what the jury was thinking. How did you keep a straight face?
One of my colleagues years ago made the phrase, when witnesses were sworn in, let the lying begin. And unfortunately, in a number of our courtrooms, that happens. You have to appear to be neutral and impartial.
This is wild. Again, she was getting a tattoo, having a good time, whatever. Dale, thank you so much for the $2 support for the channel. All of it helps. Trust me. Every little bit, all right? I appreciate you. My mind was blown the first time I saw this case. We don't report like that here. I was glued to the TV, right?
And you don't want jurors to read anything off of your facial expressions. Thus, the stoic look, the stone-faced look. But inside, you're wondering, what in the world is going on? This is a bunch of crock.
Judge, you have tried. You presided over enough murder cases to know exactly what was going on. My question to you, were you surprised Top Mom Caylee Anthony did not take the stand in her own defense?
No, I wasn't surprised. The prosecution would have had a field day with her with the various stories. Imagine as you are flipping through these pages now, they could go through each page and say, did you find her there? Were you looking for her there? She would have been totally destroyed on cross-examination. That's why she didn't take the stand.
You know, Judge, here's a little trick I used when I was prosecuting, and I've lost track, seriously. At the beginning...
Now, mind you, guys, everything we're watching, everything we're talking about was before they found her baby girl in those 31 days that Caylee went unreported. Now, mind you, Caylee Anthony never reported her daughter missing. She told her mother that she was missing and she had left her with the Zanny, the nanny. And the grandmother called law enforcement, called it in, told them that her trunk smells like a dead body was in there. And then she was arrested. They then changed their story later on. The dad went and did an unaliving. That factored in. And just one person on that juror didn't think she was guilty. And bam, that's it.
My first case, felony shoplifting. I got a conviction on attempted shoplifting. I used to keep a record. Okay, I tried this case on this day. This was the defendant's name. This is the indictment number. And this is the verdict. After I got to around 100, I was so slammed. I couldn't barely keep up with all the cases to be tried. You know, inner city Atlanta. I don't know. I lost track. And this is something I would do. When I would first start the case, whenever I would have something, oh, that's for closing argument, I'd make a note.
A little bit forward. Hold on.
That big fat file, defendant's cross-examination.
Mrs. Redhead, this is Jen Soto, the evil potato. Jen Soto is Caylee Anthony 2.0. She's only locked up for a short time and she got acquitted, which means she got a not guilty. She will never be locked up. All right. Yeah. No BS. No Brandons, no Steves. Just kick them out of here. We don't need that. We have a nice little community and we're trying to make sure that Caylee's name gets put out there and that you guys remember who she is. Don't go support her Substack. People are saying, I hope she does jail time at some point. I hope she doesn't make money. Guys, she's already making money. She's got 86,000 followers and she's got this paid platform that people are paying to hear what she has to say. She's already making money. She already wrote the memoir. It's already coming out and she's never going to be tried again for anything. So no, she's in the clear.
Ready for you. That's why she didn't take the stand. But now she's writing a memoir where nobody can cross-examine her BS, Judge.
Nancy, she's trying to recast, reframe herself as a victim and a seeker of the truth. And nothing can be farther from the truth. And she's not a victim in this case.
Judge, we are not in your courtroom. You don't have a bailiff to protect you tonight. Yep. Did you just say Caylee Anthony is positioning herself to be the seeker of the truth? Did you say that? I want to see your face when you say that.
That's what she's trying to do, but it's not going to work. She's going to retell that story. You look at what she said in her introduction to her book. She wants to find the answers about what happened to her child that was taken away from her. Well, guess what? She knows the answers. That's why I said she's trying to cast herself as a seeker of the truth, when in fact, the truth and her are strangers. They're ships passing in the night.
Judge, the title of the book is...
And you know what sucks is that judge knew. That judge had the case file and he's basically telling you that she's a liar, but he's without so many words. The jury found her not guilty, and so he had to go with that. Kalisa, thank you. I'm about to gift another membership, guys, so make sure you hit the like button and drop a comment. What's up with these wackos working at Disney? Well, there's a ton of pedos at Disney and in Universal. It is a pattern, but Caylee Anthony never worked there, guys. She lied about working there. So I don't even know what that is. But listen, I watched the Boy Scouts of America documentary, and this always sticks with me. I watched the documentary, and they had pedophiles in that documentary that worked for Boy Scouts of America. And what he said was, yes, I'm a convicted pedo, and I'm never going to be able to, did my time, I went to jail, but I'm never going to be able to be okay. I'm never going to be able to be okay because that's what I'm attracted to are young children, young boys, young girls. But he says, if you like to eat ice cream, you work at an ice cream shop. If you want to, Victoria's Secret discount, you work at Victoria's Secret. You want access to children, you work at a place where there's children, like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Disney World, Disneyland. I couldn't have said that better. And I wanted to punch him through the screen. All right. Yeah, we're gonna the trolls are out. They must be bored today, boy. I don't even know what. So remember last week I said, hey guys, at least the trolls could be a little more creative. They're trying to be creative now, guys. They used more than a syllable. Good job. Good job, Steve. Try again, though, all right? All right, we operate on Westminster System, Australia, Commonwealth of New Evidence. Nope. Can you guys? Nope. You can, but you can't be retried. That's called double jeopardy. That's it. That's all. No more. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wanted to punch that pedo through the screen. You guys, if you get a chance, go watch the documentary on Boy Scouts of America. When that place was founded, they would just take a report. So let's say little Johnny would get molested by one of the troopers, and he would tell his, the boss trooper, and little Johnny would say, he touched me and he did this. He'd go in the office. The boss would write a report about Don doing this to little Johnny, and it would get pushed in a drawer. Now, mind you, this is like in the 70s and 80s, late 70s, early 80s, before we had computers. They dug up a bunch of files that little Johnny, little Sean, little Eric, they all were being molested by these troop leaders, and they didn't do anything about it except they buried the files. So it was actually pretty cool that pedo talked and said, hey, that's not something you can cure. You can't cure a pedo from wanting what they want. But if you want to be in the vicinity of ice cream, again, work at an ice cream shop. Kids work where kids are, period. So you guys got to watch out for that. Always stuck with me. Where kids go is where the pedos go as well. All right, let's continue. Come on, Steve. Come on, trolls. You can do better than that. Give it all you got. I'm ready.
Who is she really? She broke her family apart, destroyed her parents, and I got a list right here of all the men she's been through. That's not a felony. I'd be mad if you didn't, but everyone results in a broken marriage, a broken relationship, a broken something. I just can't believe she's got 10,000 people reading her Substack. They must be ghouls.
So mind you, Substack is different than TikTok. TikTok, she has 86,000 followers, and Substack, she has 10,000, and you can't even see what she's saying unless you pay for a Substack account. So mind you, let's say that 10,000 people that are subscribed, let's just say that there was only 10% of the people that paid. She's still getting paid, and I think it's like $9.99 a month or something like that. We still don't know, Nisa. She still never told the truth about Caylee's biological father. I don't think we're ever gonna know. All right, let's continue. Look at this. There's all the men and the relationship she's gone through.
P.T. Barnum once said, "There's a sucker born every minute," and that's what she has. A lot of suckers, people who are following their instincts for curiosity, wanting to know what the next story is, what the next lie is. They're fascinated by that.
Judge, were you surprised when the NG came down?
Yes. You always know there's a possibility, but the state had a pretty powerful case. And you can always go back and look at something they could have done differently. But yes, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I read it twice.
You read it twice?
I had to read it twice to make sure my eyes were not playing tricks on me.
In my jurisdiction where I tried cases, the prosecutor would...
Come on, trolls. While I'm playing the video, I can clap back at you, and you can get a little bit of the attention that you're dying for. Come on, make another account.
Read the verdict. I think probably by that time the judges were so tired they went, yeah, you read it. But anyway, I always looked at it 2 or 3 times to make sure that it was a guilty verdict, so I wouldn't be, surprised if I misread it. So you had to read it twice to make sure it said not guilty.
Yeah.
I remember the look on Top Mom Caylee Anthony's face when that not guilty came down. She's like, what? It worked. Advice for Top Mom Caylee Anthony tonight, Judge?
Tell the truth, but she'll never do it.
No, she's never going to tell the truth. And if you watch what she says back to back throughout the years, she just puts more lies on top of more lies. All right, just give them another membership. If you got that membership, come out and say hello. All right. Now, what are you guys talking about? I want to know.
I mean, the world wants to know what happened. We know the babysitter
We
didn't
know
take
what
her.
happened.
Now, she had a...
Thank you.
We know that the babysitter was Xanax, Xanny and Annie. And when the Xanax stopped working, then you had the chloroform. The child just didn't jump in the trunk by herself. You can't have, you look at the various things she has said. The baby was last seen alive with Xanny and Nanny. She doesn't know what happened. Then all of a sudden, the child drowned. Then all of a sudden, George, who loved that child immensely, took her and dumped her like a piece of trash in the swamp near their home. All of that is just totally incredible. But it's consistent with her personality. She wants to be the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. She wants to be the center of attention.
Amen.
Full stop.
I'm totally stealing that. She wants to be the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. I'm totally taking that. In fact, according to me, you stole that from me. You're so right. You are so right. I don't think she could stand that Caylee was the star. I accept my children, John, David, and Lucy, they're the stars. They are the stars. And I love watching them. I think you just hit the nail on the head. When you get tired of being a judge emeritus and a distinguished lawyer, maybe you should be a psychologist or a therapist, because you just hit the nail on the head. She wanted to be the bride at every wedding. Okay, Judge, this year for Christmas, I'm going to give you Who Is She Really for Christmas. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Nancy.
Time Mom Caylee Anthony goes from maggots in her car trunk and the smell of death to writing a memoir.
You know, that's crazy that that even happened, that type of evidence with her calling 31 days past and the Xanny and the lies, that she got nothing. I don't, and that's a good question. I wonder if they overcharged. Like, let's say, yes, I did. Go check that out. I've got a book I gave. Well, I just shipped one today to one of y'all. I give books away. We do a lot of giveaways here. That's why I ask for your support. So yeah, go check it out. Hit that like button. It is Pride Month, and my book is so perfect for June Pride Month. All right, go check it out. I think you'll like it, Nisa. I really do. All right, let's continue. From being charged with of her daughter to a memoir.
Straight out to special guest joining us, Randy Kessler, veteran trial lawyer who covered the case with me when it happened. He is an Emory Law School professor, former chair of the ABA, American Bar Association Family Law Section, author of Divorce, Protect Yourself, Your Kids, and Your Future. Kessler, what? I don't understand it. She's writing a memoir that says, who is she really? Now, it says over 5,000 subscribers. Correction, she's got 61,000 followers on TikTok and 35,000 on her Substack.
No, she doesn't. Not anymore. Her TikTok has 86,000 followers. I'm not sure where she's looking there, but maybe she read it backwards. Either way, that's neither here nor there.
Who are they?
You know, what's surprising to me, Nancy, is that you're surprised by this. You know, you and I went at it a bunch of times about how she was going to have some supporters and maybe somebody on the jury would have some sympathy. And it turns out, in hindsight, somebody on the jury did have some sympathy. And that's the person times 10, times 1,000 that's out there buying her book. She recognized that despite all this horrible evidence against her, this persuasive evidence, this beyond a reasonable doubt evidence, in our opinion, she still was acquitted. That means that somebody felt for her, somebody bonded with her, somebody understood her, somebody wanted to.
That's what I'm saying. It just took one person to say, I think her dad probably molested her, and then whatever. Or they just simply felt like there wasn't enough to connect her. Back then, DNA wasn't as heavy as it is. But finding a little girl's bones in bags that match yours from your house just a half a mile away, and then everything else, it's a lot of circumstantial evidence. But I cannot believe that she just didn't get anything, because they charged her with first degree, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter. So maybe they didn't overcharge her, guys, because aggravated manslaughter could have been the charge they picked, and yet they didn't. So that's why I knew that they were charging her hefty, but there was an option for the jurors, and they didn't take that. They didn't use that option. Instead, they acquitted her. I wanted to show you her out in the wild real quick before we keep going. Look at this. She was out at Disney World. She lives in Florida. You could obviously tell she got a boob job. And I don't know if she got a BBL, but look at this next one. This is, in fact, Caylee Anthony. This was her 2 years ago at Disney World shopping for children's clothing. Look at her from behind, though. She literally's got like a figure, the hourglass waist, huge boobs. And then she must have got that BBL or something, because she did not look like that prior to. All right. So Joseph Morris posted these, and there's not a lot on Caylee Anthony, obviously, because It's an old case, but yeah, I mean, people are talking about it. Look at that. Look at her. And they have the same emotionless face, Caylee Anthony and Corey Richards. I never even would have thought about that. All right, let's remove this and put you back on there. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button, share. It's all free.
To believe her, she's capitalizing on that. And the fact that we or you or any of us are surprised that she hasn't changed, that she's still playing on or preying on those people who might find sympathy or might understand her or might buy her story, it's not surprising to me. What else is she to do? To say, oh, I wasn't convicted, I wasn't put to jail, but now I'm going to tell you the truth. I did it. No way in a million years is that going to happen. This is the natural consequence and the natural, progression of her life. And I think any of us could have predicted it if we just thought about who she was and what she's going to do next. She's going to wait for the dust to settle. She's going to persist in the, I didn't do it, poor me, turn the focus on me. I love what the judge is, talking about. She wants to be the.
I mean, look at her back then. She barely had any boobs and she was tiny. Now you ask who pays for it, guys. You really should go to Peacock and watch that 2022 documentary. It will give you a lot of perspective as to what happened to her after the trial and in between all the time hiding out. She's literally living in a house of misfits. She lives with like an old ass lawyer guy, and it's just a mosh of people. It's a bunch of misfits at the dinner table talking about poor Caylee Anthony and how she can't be in the public. Then blames her dad after. I know. I'm telling you, she's despicable. If she were on OnlyFans, we might have heard about that. But you know who's supporting her? That lawyer. Just watch Peacock. She's living in some upscale house in Florida that can't be disclosed.
Center of everything. And guess what? It's profitable for her. Not sure what else she would do to make money.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. In today's uncertain economy, families.
Blah, blah, blah. What is this? Oh. See, this is the generation she's targeting, guys. Right here.
Daughter should have been 20 years old, but instead, guess what you do? You come on TikTok. You were lying through your teeth when you say that you have, I've been in the legal field since 2011. You mean when you were on trial? Get off of social media. You are dangerous to the public, and you're a psychopath, liar, and I hope you rot in hell. There's a special place for you.
That is Selena Vantez on TikTok, and boy, she's telling it like it is. Okay, here's my question to Rob Dick. Now, in case you don't know who Rob Dick is, he's a private investigator. He's a former bounty hunter. He observed Caylee Anthony behind bars, and he was her bodyguard immediately following her release on bail. Remember, Rob, she was first charged with some minor offense and let out on bail. That was before the murder charge. You were with her to, I think, ensure that she came back to court when she called a murder charge.
Come on, guys.
You saw her throughout. Can you believe she is writing a memoir called Who Is She Really? How did we get here? I think we all know the answer to that, but are you surprised?
Not really. She always has to play the victim. She always has to be the center of attention. We all see it. That's exactly the way she was in the beginning. I mean, the very beginning when her child is supposedly missing.
Look at that shit.
All she cared about is how many cameras were out there. Was the focus on her? Poor me, poor me. Even all the way back before we got her out in the jail. Her videos that showed from the jail visits where she's just saying, but what about me?
I mean, look at her. She literally has zero boobs in this picture. She has the body of a 12-year-old boy. I think this man has more boobs. And she gets off in the trial, goes and moves in with some lawyer and a bunch of and this lawyer's an old man, like old man, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if she was diddling everybody in that whole household. Clementine, good to see you, my friend. I hope not. All right, let's get back to it. His name is Rob Dick.
What, if anything, did you observe?
That, again, it's just always got to be about her. I mean, when Cindy showed baby pictures of Caylee, of, this is my granddaughter that the world is looking for, Caylee had to come over and put her baby pictures on top. But look at me. Wasn't I a cute baby? It's always about her.
Okay, wait, you've never told me that story. Tell me that story.
Yeah.
Cindy was showing us pictures of Caylee as a baby. And, this is my wonderful granddaughter that, again, we're all thinking is missing. And at the same time, Caylee goes and gets her baby pictures and puts them on top of Caylee's. But look at me. Wasn't I a cute baby? It's always about her.
I have never heard that story. I would never dream of putting my childhood pictures, what there are of them, on top of the twins' pictures. Rob, you have to tell the story.
Guys, she literally, you guys, a lot of people missed that Peacock series. She works for this lawyer and she does legal advocating work. She works for, she's like a, the person that's not a lawyer, where they call him like a clerk kind of. She researches his cases, gets them ready. She does all kinds of stuff and she gets paid. I'm sure that lawyer bought her those boobs and that butt. I'll tell you that right now.
About what she said. She gets out of jail. She comes home, walks in the house, and she doesn't say, "What have you done to find Caylee? Where is she? What do you know? Help me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go." That's not the first thing she said when she walked in.
No.
Thank you. Yes, a paralegal. That's why she calls herself an advocate and a researcher and all the things that she claims to be, because she's like a paralegal. And I don't know if she got the formal, like, I don't know if she got the formal education. They didn't go into any of that, but that lawyer talked her up like she was the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. I agree, Spunky Girl, and welcome. Stacy, thank you. The paralegal. Got my own. I don't have no problem with anybody getting boob jobs. I just don't like Caylee Anthony, and she, in my opinion, got off from a crime that she committed. I don't care what you guys get. BBLs, boob jobs, no shame. But if you're Caylee Anthony, it's a different story.
It's a very emotional moment. Cindy's crying. George is rushing over. They're grabbing her, hugging her, and all she could care about was what's for dinner.
That is what she said. Okay, I need to shrink. Dr. Sherry Schwartz is joining us, forensic psychologist specializing in capital mitigation in cases just like this. Oh, by the way, Rob Dick is at thehumanhunters.com. Thehumanhunters.com.
Right. I want you to see her in the car.
Pay attention to me. And that is just...
Oh, wait, let's see. Does she have a BBL there? Because I didn't see any of that. Where'd those pictures go? Hold on.
Pay attention to me. And that is just one of the most disturbing things that I've heard in this whole case. And there's so many disturbing things.
Well, unlike the jury in the Top Mom Caylee Anthony murder trial, many people are not fooled by her latest attempt at grabbing attention.
She didn't do jail time. Okay. Listen, y'all, she didn't do jail time. She was in jail off and on, and then they would pay bond. She'd get out, and then they gave her time served. She's been out for the last 17 years. So I'm sure she got her license not in jail. She never really did any time. So I don't know I don't think people understand that. She was in jail here and there, but she always got bonded out and she never had to do any like hard time. So no, she didn't get it in jail. She never really did jail time. She's a psychopath, but an attractive one. And see, that's the problem. So PL80, I don't even know if I've seen you here before or not, but that's what this generation is looking at. They're looking at her reframing herself and her attractiveness. They're looking at her looks is what they're looking at. They're like, no way could she be like that. No way could she have done that. I mean, look at right here. This makes me mad as well. Look at this. It's Pride Month, and this is what she posts. All right. Caylee Anthony on Substack, right? Pride Month. She's over there saying 11 years ago, gay marriage was legalized in the United States. Love wins. You know who knows about that? Me, because I was married in 2008 when it was legal, and then it got overturned, and then it got reinstated. So what does Caylee Anthony know about gay marriage? Why is she putting that out there? Because she's hoping to get people like that to follow her. That's ridiculous. No, she was in jail, but it was off and on, and she certainly wasn't studying. That's what I meant. She didn't do any kind of hard time in jail. She was in, she was out. But she did get time served, but nothing compared to what she should have gotten.
Okay, I'm sweating. Yeah, girl, you should be sweating like in church.
Freaking Caylee Anthony is trying to peddle her memoir. She posted a preview of it on Substack on May 1st. No one wants to buy your memoir. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Go away. Stop trying to make Caylee Anthony. Stop trying to make yourself happen. You're not going to happen.
The first person was Caitlin Desmond on TikTok, and I'm going to have to play that again. The second woman is Belen, VVNDHP. You know what? Let's hear those two again.
We're sweat to death. Okay.
Okay, I'm sweating. Yeah, girl, you should be sweating. Like in church.
Freaking Caylee Anthony is trying to peddle her memoir. She posted a preview of it on Substack on May 1st. No one wants to buy your memoir. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Go away. Stop trying to make Caylee Anthony. Stop trying to make yourself happen. You're not going to happen.
Again, that's
I love that. All right, let me you guys know I have to correct everything. So here's the Caylee Anthony did spend almost 3 years in jail continuously, and that was from October 8th, 2008 until July 11th. So it wasn't off and on. I was thinking it was off and on because I read that she got bailed out. Why people got confused was because she was sentenced to 4 years. She actually got 1 year for each of the 4 misdemeanor lies to run consecutive. So she actually did get time. That was 4 years. She lied about Zanny the nanny, lied about her work. Each lie, she got a year. All right. So that it did. She ran that consecutively from 2008 till the end of the trial in July 2011. And that was because she had already served nearly 3 years awaiting trial. And so the judge gave her credits and time served. She only had 10 to 14 days of sentencing after the trial. And that was it. All right. So, but no, she didn't do any kind of like, I'm getting my, I'm getting my degree or any of that. So there you go. Thank you for the correction.
Caitlin Desmond on TikTok. That was the first woman that was fanning herself like Mom Caylee Anthony was. And the second woman who's saying, please go away. And she goes by Belen, VVNDHP, there at TikTok. Dr. Kendall Crowns is joining me. Dr. Crowns is the chief medical examiner of Tarrant County. That's Fort Worth, Texas. Never a lack of business there in the morgue. He is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TC.
This guy's a trip. He always looks like he's high, but he's not. And she didn't get life. She didn't get any of that. She only got a tiny bit of time. She was acquitted on the murder charges, but she got the most basic for lying, which again, they should have put that on top of it, was child neglect. The fact that she didn't call in, she never made a phone call to say, my daughter's missing. Look at Nancy's face right here.
You. And he is the star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue. You know what I like about Mayhem in the Morgue, Dr. Kendall Crowns? You weave in an actual story about a case that you investigated and you conducted the autopsy with your dry wit. It's awesome. So, Dr. Kendall Crowns, your podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue aside, can we have a little reality check about how this child, 2 years old, you've got children, 2 years old, look at her. By the time her remains were found, her 250 plus bones were scattered all across swampy area, which when I saw it was covered in trash, old tires, beer bottles, liquor bottles, trash. That's where Caylee's remains were found. Okay. What happened to Caylee?
What happened to Caylee is after she was more likely than not killed because she has duct tape wrapped around her head, she was placed in the back of a trunk where her body was decomposing. After a few days, it probably started smelling, which there is someone saying that they smelled death in her car. Also, they found maggots. So flies laid eggs. She's decomposing. 4 days, she started.
You know what I didn't realize back then is that they actually found maggots in the trunk, which leads straight to decomp unless you leave like a piece of meat back there for a really long time. I did not realize that. And I've totally forgot that Caylee was only 2 years old, guys. I didn't even, for some reason, when I look at her, when I look back, I thought she was like 5, 6 years old. Yeah, she did get the fraud writing bad checks, but nothing at all to Jim Brewer. Yeah, he just looks high. I know he's not, but are we sure? Well, we're not sure of anything. Good day, mates. What's up, Kelvin from Australia? All right, let's continue.
It's turning green and bloating. They then probably dumped her body because they didn't want to have the smell continued on in the hopes to get rid of it, dumping her body where she was found in the swampy area, where her body continued to decompose, was being eaten by maggots and flies. And then scavengers start coming, like raccoons, possums, coyotes, anything in the area. Mice still start coming too, as well as other insects, ants and beetles, and they'll consume the body. And after several days, all that's left is kind of a husk of a body, no internal organs. And then that gets completely skeletonized over time. So it just depends on the scavengers and the time frame. The skeletonization can take days to weeks to months. It's all dependent on scavengers, how hot it is outside.
And they never even found all of her bones scattered from one end of that dump site to the next.
That's usually what happens is the smaller bones get consumed by animals and they're just taken away. So that's why you don't see all of them. The interesting thing about her is the fact that she still had duct tape stuck to her that was wrapped, 3 loops wrapped around her face, covering her nose. And
guys, those things all came back to that household. Remember, half a mile away her body was. Thank you so much, Dale. You're awesome. Thank you guys for helping me get to the goal tonight. Even if we get halfway to the goal, we're good. It helps the channel. So thank you. You're so late, but I remember this case. Never understood why she was found not guilty. Yeah, you definitely, the boss bitch, should watch after this. Go back and take a look, because we start from then until now, and it gives you a good idea of what the hell happened in this case. And yeah, but the death penalty is also an overcharge. She would have never gotten the death penalty. And now she's in Tennessee, in my opinion. She might be in Tennessee. Last time she was in Florida, but she keeps meeting these different men. So maybe. Thank you so much, Dale. Dale says, we love you, Jay. Well, thank you. I'm glad I could make your all's Monday even better. All right, I know we're talking about true crime and, we want justice, or at least people to know who Caylee Anthony was and who Caylee Anthony is. All right, so thank you. Damn, that was her bones, guys. This little girl, her daughter.
Mouth. So that to me means, she was suffocated because you can't breathe through the duct tape.
That.
So depending on how tight that duct tape was, that could have easily killed her. And if you're saying that they use chloroform or diphenhydramine or Benadryl, they could have knocked her into a state of semi-consciousness, looped duct tape around her and threw her in the trunk and then found her dead later. That's pretty much how suffocations go. Or
Dr. Kendall Crowns, an interesting note, you accurately described the duct tape wrapped around her head, across the mouth, all around, and on the mouth, Dr. Kendall Crowns, was a heart sticker right there. Now, what unrelated, cold-blooded stranger killer would have thought to put a heart sticker on her face on top of the duct tape, wrap her in her favorite blanket out of her nursery at her grandparents' home, and put her in a trash bag from the Anthony home?
Yeah, that's the bizarre part. They do some odd things. They take things from the scene. They put.
Now, I don't remember which law enforcement, what sector of law enforcement did her father work in? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I'm wondering if they strategized together as how to get her off. Because if you can confuse the jury enough, then you can get one person with a reasonable doubt. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here. Are you guys still good? We've been almost 2 hours and I'm just so for this today. I so want to get this all out. I can't, and I want it to be shared too. Did they find the cause of death? I don't believe so. She had duct tape around her mouth. I could check. I don't want to answer that without it. She would have been found guilty of no death penalty. She would have been found if no death penalty. He worked in, okay, so he was an investigator. Yeah, no cause of death. I mean, they tried to play it off that she drowned, but you can't tell with skeletal remains. Oh, that was so nice of you. Thank you. That helps the channel so much more than you know. Thank you so much, Corruption, for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. Guys, if you receive that from So Much Corruption, please thank them. All right, let's continue. I've got some more too. I'm going to be going back and forth a little bit because this is an important case that sets off a lot of things in Florida. And people are still upset. You guys are the ones that brought up the Caylee Anthony case to me when Madeline Soto came out. Those of you from Florida. Now, I knew about it, but you guys are like, Jay, this community hasn't been this aggravated and angry and upset since Caylee Anthony got off.
Stickers on them that the child used to play with. That is something to ask a psychiatrist. I've never understood why they basically are marking them with things that link them back to the scene, especially like using their blanket too. It's like they're almost feeling like the child needs their blanket because they might get cold.
If you are considering buying Top Mom Caylee Anthony's new memoir, who is she really? It's going to be a pack of lies, because when you don't know a horse, look at her track record.
Right. And guys, I didn't even get to this part yet. I might as well bring that in, that she did actually get, she definitely was found guilty, but it was only 4 misdemeanors. And on each misdemeanor, that was a year. So her 4 guilty, 4 misdemeanors were providing false information to the law enforcement. That's it. And because she served time while awaiting trial, she was then released after sentencing, I think 10 to 14 days after sentencing. All right, let's continue.
Everything you've told me so far has been a lie. I can tell you with a certainty, and let me explain why. Since I left you this morning, I've gone to every address that you've told me. I've looked up every name. I've talked to every person that you wanted me to talk to or tried to. I've reached out. I've talked to your ex-boyfriend. I've talked to Amy. I've talked to Tony. I came over here. I've already talked to all the employees. I found out all these names that you're giving me are people that either never worked here or have been fired here for a long time ago. Okay, so where we are right now is in a position that doesn't look very good for you.
This is the honest to God's truth. Of everything that I've said, I do not know where she is. The last person that I saw her with is Zenaida. She's the last person that I've seen my daughter with.
See, here's the problem. I think Sergeant Allen's trying to get to this, is that we know that's not the truth. We know, listen. We know that that's not true. That can't be the truth. Because if that were the truth, everything you would have told us would have been on the money.
It absolutely is the truth. Okay, Rob Dick.
Well, see, that's the problem, Clar, is they created a bunch of confusion and ruckus for the jury to not be able to decipher what's a lie and what's not. I think they purposely did that. I mean, that's what the defense team does, right? And that's where Jose Baez kicked off his, his fame and fortune from that case. Exactly. Why duct tape if she drowned? That makes no sense. She drowned, so you duct tape your daughter and you didn't call 911. Larissa, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Love your energy, Jay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and welcome to the crime crew. Thank you. I know George isn't the father. All right, you guys got a lot to say, and I love it. Thank you again. All right, let's continue. You know what? Actually, before we do that real quick, so 2 months ago, a young girl, a Florida student, was doing a search for Caylee Anthony to figure out what she did to get off and how she did it just 2 months ago. And she ultimately took the life of her baby. Oh, I should say she killed her child. And she got the death penalty. Let me show you real quick, and then we'll hop back to this. This is how I would edit my video. Say I wasn't streaming live. This is how I would do my videos. I'd cut in, cut out.
Drown in the toilet and then buried that newborn in her garden. Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb joining us live in the studio working this one. Ashlyn, you just spoke one-on-one with the sheriff who says they believe this murder was premeditated.
Yeah, and the sheriff just told me what she searched on her phone was the key to the new charges. Okay. He says the evidence completely contradicts what she originally told investigators, claiming she didn't even know she was pregnant.
Is there anything you want to say?
3 weeks after Ann DiMaggio ran from our cameras straight to her car, just minutes after bonding out, she's back in the Flagler County Jail, now accused of premeditated first-degree murder of her newborn.
We always felt that there was more evidence.
The sheriff says before DiMaggio gave birth and before her 3-pound, 6-ounce baby girl drowned in a toilet, she made what investigators call incriminating searches. Things like newborn premature babies, Palm Coast OBGYN, and foods to decrease fertility. Detectives also found images of Caylee Anthony and newborn babies.
She clearly knew she was pregnant, and then what she was trying to do to end that pregnancy.
Investigators say after giving birth, DiMaggio placed the baby in a duffel bag and went on with her day, attending classes at Daytona State College, later performing in a play. When she got home, they say she buried the baby girl in the backyard.
I know, you were a father, a grandfather. When you hear of a case like this, just from a human standpoint, how do you react?
I don't understand how anyone, especially a mother, could do that. Who knows what this child could have been? Maybe she would have been the first president of the United States, or.
And it doesn't even matter what she would have been or what wouldn't have been. That's not her right to decide that. And it's crazy that Caylee Anthony has a following like that, of somebody that would look up to her and be like, oh, this is what I could model myself after. I don't want my kid either. Maybe I can get off. Hold on. I don't know why it does that. Hold on, why does it do that? Okay, anyway, let's continue. So that's her role model. Caylee Anthony's her role model. If you want to get rid of your child and get off, Caylee Anthony's your woman.
She turned herself in at the Flagler County Jail. She'll be held on no bond pending her first appearance on these new charges, which also include aggravated child abuse and failure to report a death with intent to conceal the death or alter the evidence.
So why didn't they charge Caylee Anthony with that? I don't understand. They could have charged her with all of those except the premeditation.
You hear her lying. You hear her lying because there was no Zenaida. That was proven at trial. She finally admitted there is no such thing, no such person as Zenaida Gonzalez, the babysitter. She is saying that is the absolute truth.
Yeah, she keeps saying that's the absolute truth. And Wyatt, Lexi Treviso seems like she's probably going to get away with it. It's because the way they went about the case. They should not have been in there filming body cam when that happened. They shouldn't have had the body cam. They shouldn't have released that. All right. I don't think Alexi Treviso is going to get much time. And if she does, it's going to be a slap on the wrist, in my opinion. All right. I agree. I don't even know what to say. A month is an eternity not to do something, right? All right, let's get back to Caylee Anthony. Mind you, there's people every day, and there's probably people in chat right now that struggled with having a child, that had to do IVF or had to have somebody carry them or stressed about it and had a miscarriage. And, we were out this weekend. We went to a food, I don't even know how to explain it, not food trucks, but an event with every kind of food you could think of, rides, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of same-sex couples there. And one of the same-sex couples we were buying food from saw my Mrs. Guilty and Baby Guilty. And she was like, "You're so blessed to have that. I really want a baby. And my girlfriend of 5 years just left. And whatever I got to do to get a baby, I will do it. And I'll raise the baby alone." You've got women like that, gay couples, lesbians, people that are infertile, that can't have children. And then you have ones like the one you just saw with Caylee Anthony. Yeah, it was a straight up food festival, man. It had everything. It was crazy. I wish I could show you guys pictures, but I can't. All right.
What did you observe of her demeanor, Rob Dick? Did her parents really believe it, or did they just want to believe it?
Well, the problem with her is I think, George and Cindy raised her. She's been that way most of her life. And what I think is interesting is she always throws in just a teeny bit of truth to anchor her lies. And you can see it.
You know who she's like? Jodi Arias, you guys. Jodi Arias, super spoiled, but hates her parents. And just her whole demeanor, the narcissistic, psychopathic, all those things remind me of Jodi Arias. And that's where she should be.
In every one of them.
They don't want to go. Can someone let me? Come on, Casey. I don't know what's going on. My entire life has been taken from me. Everything has been taken from me. You guys are not understanding my side on this, and I'm sorry. Do you understand how I feel? I mean, do you really understand how I feel in this? I literally have nothing right now. Wow. Nothing.
Me. Dr. Sherry Schwartz. I, of course, am not a shrink. I'm a trial lawyer, but isn't that a narcissistic personality? By her story, Caylee is missing. Someone has kidnapped her. She doesn't know whether Caylee is dead or alive. Then we find out she knew all along there was no babysitter. Caylee missing, Caylee dead. And all she talks about is me and I. Explain.
That's absolutely a prominent feature of narcissism. Me, I, poor me, it's so bad for me. And not once in that clip and many others over the years, especially when you were covering this, I watched every single night. And never once does she say, "Where is my daughter? Don't come and visit me. Go out there and look for my daughter. We have to find my daughter." People need to remember that she did not call 911. It was her mother. And she took that baby from her mother after an argument she had with her mother. So this is somebody who engages in chaos and destruction and has no care or concern for anybody but herself.
So if you're getting all set and you got your credit card hot in your hand to buy, who is she really? Well, I'm going to show you who she is. And if you want to pay for a pack of lies, that's on you.
You remember the phone call you were telling us about?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Did you actually talk? What day was it you talked to her?
Yesterday,
You remember what time of day?
around noon. It was from a private number.
Okay, and what'd she tell you? What'd your daughter say to you?
She said, "Hi, mommy."
And that's it?
And she started telling me a story, talking to me about her shoes. And look, if I wanted to really just get rid of her, I would have left her with my parents and I would have left. I would have moved out. I would have given my mom custody. I would not have let anything happen to my daughter except I made the mistake of trusting another person with her. That's it.
No, stop. You've made a lot more mistakes by that, because everything that you've told us, every single thing, from the point that you opened your mouth to the police officer this morning to right now, everything has been a lie.
She's with someone that I absolutely do not trust, and that I'm absolutely scared that
you don't trust yet with babysitting your daughter for a year?
I don't trust her now because of what happened.
What point did you stop trusting her?
The moment that her phone was cut off and I couldn't get in contact with my daughter.
So you thought then something right.
Something's wrong.
And when you started thinking.
So mind you guys, this was one of the things she was charged for. This interview right here, she got a year for. And that year was for her lying and saying that she knew where her daughter was last. She took law enforcement to an apartment that nobody lived in. She gave a number that didn't exist. So mind you, this is who she is. All right, getting in a loud family argument on Father's Day says volumes. All right, we went to the native reservation, Pyramid Lake, and shot off fireworks. All right, let's continue. You guys are enjoying yourselves in chat. And now, guys, on YouTube, you guys can talk to each other. They've got an instant messenger type of thing. So if you guys like Clark or Mama Sage, any of you guys that will typically say, Jay, can you get me in touch with this person? You guys can get in touch with yourselves now on YouTube. They've got a little instant message thing. You guys should check that out for sure. That way you guys can keep in contact with each other when we're not filming.
That something was wrong. I wanted, which police agent did you call first? Us or the city police, or who did you call first? Who did you go to for help first to help try to find her?
No one.
Oh, no one. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad we got that straightened out.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. Please join us on.
It's possible that you were home on that day, even though your work records reflect something differently. It's possible. Were you or weren't you?
Randy Kessler, your specialty, well, you have so many specialties. That, by the way, is from ABC, is family law. That's certainly euphemistic for divorce, bitter custody battles, domestic violence. Do these names mean anything to you? Jesse Grund, Tony Lazzaro, Ricardo Morales, Tyson Rhodes, or Ben Boshemin? Those names ring any bell to you at all?
Yeah, it's just a web of deception, right? Everybody she misled, lied to, cheated on, didn't tell, him that he was not the father. I mean, it's just lies. I mean, the whole case was built on her lies. And
you do recognize them?
Yes.
Jesse Grund, this is a string of broken families and broken relationships. Jesse Grund was Tot Mom's ex-fiance. They were engaged. And Tot Mom led him to believe for a long time he was Caylee's bio dad until a DNA test proved otherwise.
There you go.
Tony Lazzaro was her primary boyfriend, and it's certainly not a felony to be dating many men at once. Her primary boyfriend at the time of her daughter's disappearance. She lived with him and his roommates 31 days when Caylee was missing, going to nightclubs, cooking dinner, just hanging out with the bros. Never mentioned that her daughter was missing. Okay, Ricardo Morales, they dated a few months before Caylee went missing. He testified in court that Tot Mom and Caylee often stayed at his apartment. Ricardo Morales testified just one day before Tot Mom is arrested, she showed no signs of distress or grief about Caylee missing. Then there's Tyson Rhodes. He was married with 2 children.
I'm glad she's going through this because that's where we start to see Caylee Anthony reemerge. We hadn't seen her for years, and then this happened. Flo Joe, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. See you again. Hope you're doing well. When are you going live again? Hey, Mally. Hopefully I said that right. I wonder if any type of cult going on in her band of misfits. That's interesting. Yeah, you guys definitely got to go watch that 2022 documentary. MC, good to see you. MCR, how you doing today? All right, let's continue tomorrow. Well, tell us what time. We'll be there. All right, here she goes, breaking up a marriage.
An aerospace engineer. Tot Mom began dating him, broke up his marriage. That ended pretty quickly. Man, he drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah. An aerospace engineer. Now there's Ben Boshemin. He owns a business, Wicked Weaponry. He immediately had friction with his family when photos of him, Bushiman, and Top Mom leaked. He disabled his Facebook account and cut off communication.
He's being put on blast right now. They straight up put up his ex account and all that, man. We are covering that over on Ghost, where if you go to ghost.org, guilty of crime, MCR, you will find the coverage from each day. There's updates on the trial. I haven't been able, I can't cover actual trials because I work all day, like during the day. But yes, we've got, detailed coverage on Ghost. So go check that out. One of you mods, can you drop the Ghost guilty of crime link for MCR? I was watching that today. I'll probably cover when the verdict comes. I watched the episode to find out what the hell happened. And guys, an MCR, why would this upcoming rising star, was he some kind of sports player, poisoned his pregnant girlfriend? You guys, I got to tell you, I got to cover the David situation, D4VD, because the way they put that out there as well, it's disturbing right there, MCR. It's free. It's right there. There's your link, guiltyofcrime.ghost. I used to have a Patreon account, but the stuff that I put sometimes is questionable. Sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes you'll get autopsy photos and things like that. I put those out. Okay. And when I put them out, I put them behind a paywall so that people like, Channel 53 don't run across them on accident. I'm just using you as an example. Right? If you want to get that, it's behind a paywall. Otherwise, it's free. No, he was a skit. That sucks, though. It's just like D4VD. If you watch that stupid documentary on Nightline, 38 minutes, it tells us not much new, but David was just a rising star, just got a huge deal, and he goes and kills Celeste. And by the way, that coverage of David is covered more about him than it is about Celeste. It's kind of disturbing, and I might have to cover it here. I've been covering that case anyway.
Communications with his relatives. She is certainly a charmer. How does that work, Randy Kessler? How do all these men fall for Top Mom Caylee Anthony?
Oh, what a wicked web we weave. You don't know how many repeat customers we have, people that get divorced, and then everyone knows their history, and there's still somebody that's attracted to them. They're just, the universe is incredible to me. The stories we hear as divorce lawyers, as family lawyers, that people come in and I ask myself, I scratch my head and think about the judge, who handled this case, who, was on the show today, what he was thinking. I look at this the same way. I'm not shocked anymore after 30 or 40 years of seeing family disputes and people doing the craziest things. And every day I think, well, I've seen it all. And then something new walks in the door. Just unbelievable.
Dave Mack, she may have woven a tangled web, but she's making a whole bunch of money. Is she not?
She is, Nancy. Caylee Anthony has been able to reinvent herself since all of this, since the acquittal. There were a couple of years in there where she was working for her attorney. That's how she claims to be a legal expert. But now she is promoting herself, her thoughts, her life using TikTok and Substack. Those are the two basic platforms that she is using. And that is where she's promoting this upcoming memoir of Who Is She Really? Thousands.
And look at the difference between her there, and then you can see that she got a nose job. She got a little facial reconstruction. She's been reinventing herself since 2020. In 2020, when she started writing her memoir and she took the opportunity to do the Peacock deal, guys, she got paid bank for that Peacock deal. As a matter of fact, they rented a house out in Florida to film so that people wouldn't go and find her. All right. So she's been making bank before then. She started making bank after she did the Peacock series. And now with the $9.99 a month to see her thoughts and what's coming up, people are paying for that, guys. She's making more money than you and I are making. And we never did any of that stuff, I'd hope. That's how Gypsy Rose capitalizes too. Gypsy Rose kills her mom, gets out. This one just didn't get much time. Gets out. Hey, guys, it's a new me. I'm pretty. I got big boobs, some kind of BBL. Follow me.
And see, thousands of people are logging on to read and listen to what she has to say. It goes beyond anything you could ever imagine when you start looking at 11,000 people who are actually wanting to hear what she has to allow. But that's what she's doing right now, using social media to promote herself as a personality, positioning herself as a legal advocate and researcher, and I don't know what else at this point. Chief liar.
Hi, guys. American homeowners. The FBI has been warning about it. But can I ask you a very simple PR question? How do you go from their words, not mine, maggots and the smell of death, maggots in her car trunk, the smell of death? You just heard the 911 call where her mother, Caylee Anthony, who was prepared and did commit perjury to save Tot Mom's skin, that the car smelled like a dead body. There were maggots in her trunk. It smelled like a dead body. And Caylee's hair from her head was in the car trunk. How do you make a comeback? Who is going to buy her memoir?
They are.
Good question, Nancy. It's going to be really, really difficult. A lot of people in the public eye try to reinvent themselves. Most of them fail. I hope that Caylee Anthony fails here. However, I should warn everybody, caution everybody, that there have been instances where celebrities, where famous folks have made a comeback. So she was acquitted by the legal system. However, the court of public opinion never did acquit her, and that's what she's going to have to try and overcome. It's going to be a real challenge. I am doubtful. I am hopeful.
I mean, right here, guys, you can see her little gay tattoo that she's supporting the gays. Like, I don't get it. Is she in that community? What is she trying to say by putting that out there? And I really think she's just trying to play off the emotions of people that have extra, care and love, and they know what it's like to be bullied. They know what it's like to feel like shit or be put down. I think she's trying to grab that audience. All right, that's my opinion.
Well, that she doesn't do it, but she might pull this off.
When you say other people have sunk low and made a comeback, like who? Don't just pull something out of the air without any support. Who?
I'll give you examples. O.J. Simpson, he found a fan base after he was found not guilty. Diddy is in jail right now, and he's somebody too that has a fan base waiting for him. Roman Polanski, the director who was charged with child, is still making movies. And so there are examples, Nancy, big examples. OJ is probably the best, where you don't need millions of people to support you. You just need a few who are willing to buy your products, buy your books, buy your Substacks, and you can make a living out of it.
Oh, are you talking about O.J. Simpson's book, If I Did It? Okay, to you, Rob Shooter, he wrote a book. People actually bought it. Yeah. I don't get it. Who's buying these books?
There's a really ghoulish fascination with crime in America, really around the world. There are people that are writing love letters to convicted criminals in jail right now. It is a sociological aspect that I'm not qualified to talk about, but I know that this exists, and I also know too, and I am qualified to talk about this, celebrity changes stuff. There are awful, awful celebrities out there who still manage to keep a fan base. They very rarely get totally
celebrity. Canceled. She's riding a bar stool at every bar she drives by and buying out TJ Maxx. Okay, okay? Thank you for that vintage shot. What celebrity is that? I would call that infamy.
Yeah, it is, Nancy, but the rules, the game has changed so much with reality TV, with different stars out there now. Gone are the days when it's just Julia Roberts and the big stars who are celebrities. We are intrigued by influencers, by people.
Well, guys, you gotta admit. And by the way, when I looked up, there was one in chat. Do me a favor and say a prayer for little Caylee Anthony, that she's not forgotten in all of this. All right, because that's the bottom line here, is that it's all about Caylee. I think that's why this triggered in the first place, because it was all about Caylee Anthony. She would take that little girl to friend's house when they were partying and just stuff her aside. That's what friends came forward and said. Yeah, she was a good mom. She'd bring her with them. I think she was jealous. I think that she didn't want to be a failure to her parents. And that's why she didn't just let the parents raise her. There's a lot of things that factor into this case that I believe happened. All right. Thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me. I know sometimes it's like, okay, we knew about this, we saw this, but you know what? This is what I wanted to report on today. I thought it was important, and I'd love to take your, I'd love to take what you guys want to do. Email me, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Somebody mentioned going over maybe Under Your Scars, talked about the trial. Definitely email me. All right, let's continue.
On TikTok, by people on Substack. The whole world of celebrity has changed, Nancy, and she's going to capitalize on that.
Let's take a listen to top mom Caylee Anthony, who is set to come out with her new memoir. Listen.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to. There are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included.
How can she get that out of her mouth, Rob Shooter? People that need a voice. What about her daughter? You know, her daughter's bones were found about 10 houses down from the Anthony home. And she did.
See, I mean, all of that together, all of that combined makes no sense. Caylee Anthony is evil. Look how conniving she is. And then now trying to extort money from naive and good people. It's a shame. Thank you, Golden Hen. I couldn't have said that better. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat, but I couldn't have said that better. You're absolutely right. She's extorting money from naive and good people, younger generations that don't know, and communities that are accepting. All right. She's full of ish, in my opinion. Yeah, I saw there's been a lot of cases, guys, as well. Not to get off topic, but Dale is right about that. And someone brought up that about the Tennessee and unalived mom. And I'll up you one with this. I have it on my radar. Did you see that a grandma poisoned her daughter, all 4 kids, and then she took her own life? Who does that? Why is this happening? This world is out of their mind. Why would a grandmother poison her daughter and then kill all 4 children and then take her own life? For what? There's been a lot of those lately, guys. All right. Yeah, some people thought Richard Ramirez was cool. Some people love Jeffrey Dahmer. Look at Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson is literally one of the most infamous killers, and he's on death row, and girls just love him. That makes no sense. Or what about the woman that just got stabbed? She got stabbed, I don't know how many times, by 3 girls, 3 young girls. She left 5 kids behind in Texas. They got into a fight and they stabbed her. 3 different girls stabbed one lady, one woman, and they laughed. They laughed while they were getting arrested, guys. Yes. I'm telling you. All right, let's continue so we can get this done. You guys can go eat. Whatever.
Didn't take the stand at trial, but then she went on to do a softball mockumentary where she blames her father. Listen.
I remember the first time he put his hands on me. A few times I do remember trying to fight back. I was never able to push him off of me. Pillow goes over my face. He smothered me several times.
Smothered you so you would pass out?
Several times.
That's a tiny snippet from Peacock. She said that when she couldn't be cross-examined.
Thank you. We're all over the Carolina Pena case, and unless I have it written down, it's hard for me to remember all of these things. So we've already got that ready to go. Carolina Pena, we're going to cover those. That's just pure evil right there. 3 women accused of brutally taking a Texas mom of 5's life. All right. Also, guys, have you guys heard about the parents that let their child get to 255 pounds and then he passed away? 7-year-old son weighed 255 pounds and he died. He ate himself to death. All right. We're going to cover that as well. And the kids didn't even go to school. No homeschool, no school. Nobody even knew that they were living in this hoarder house. And the mom and the dad, they spent more money on taking their dogs to the vet, and they had insurance, but they didn't take their kids to the doctors. All right. So, I mean, this world is getting out of control.
Throwing her father under the bus. If that were true, Rob Shooter, don't you believe she would never have entrusted her father, George Anthony, with her daughter, with a child molester? No way.
No way, Nancy, we're totally agreeing on this. And this is what's going to be her problem, hopefully, is that every post, every video, every interview she does is going to be filtered through the same question, which is what happened to Caylee. Let's remember Caylee here. So the question isn't whether or not Caylee Anthony can get followers. She can. She can get attention. She can get people talking about her. The question is, are people ready to forgive her? Are they ready to give her a second chance here? I hope that answer's no. She wants to be an activist now, but America is going to always know her as Caylee Anthony. This is going to be an uphill battle, rightfully so.
Speaking of being an activist, listen to this.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
I'm sure the LG.
Do people really talk like that? This platform that has been thrust upon me? Or are you trying to cater to your OnlyFans? Because I don't know anybody that's thrust upon you except for all those men that you've been cheating with on their wives. Thrust upon me. Ew, what kind of ugh. Anyway, sorry, Larissa, about that. I'm gonna look that case up. If you want coverage on it, send me an email. I'd be happy to at least get it up onto Ghost and see what's going on with it. All right. Prayers for you and those around that have to suffer the consequences of what action somebody else chose to do.
LGBTQ community is, what would be the right word? Stunned that Tom, I'm Caylee Anthony, is going to be their spokesperson. Thoughts?
We don't want her. So what she's trying to do here is she's trying to move beyond this case, but the public hopefully...
She's trying to glom onto you.
She is, and that's her way of moving
into you,
beyond
like
the
she's
case.
hooked into one man after the next to live off them like a tick, like a parasite. Now she's glomming onto the LGBTQ community and women's rights. Women's rights. Objection. My rear end. Okay, that never actually worked in court. But women do not need an accused child killer as their advocate.
Neither does the LGBT community. I just saw that. I've actually been looking at that case. Larissa, I hope I'm saying your name right. Larissa. That case is a Florida realtor and 2 daughters' lives were taken by her ex-husband, and then he took his own life. Is that the one? Melanie Heyer and Ryan Whiten. June 4th, this came out. A Florida realtor and her ex-husband were found dead alongside 2 daughters and an apparent unaliving. You know what I'm saying? 46-year-old Melanie Heyer, her 42-year-old husband Ryan, and their daughters Savannah, 11, and Sienna, 8, were all pronounced dead on the scene. Police said that Whitten, the husband, stabbed her and the daughters before taking his own life. This happens all the time now, and I don't know why.
Right.
How can you shake her off?
You can't. Well, what you can do is stop giving her the attention, the oxygen that she desperately craves. Not only potentially has done horrific things, but also to a complete narcissist who wants us to be talking about her constantly. She's trying to move beyond this case. She's trying now to find a new identity for herself. And if she has to use the gay community, women's rights to do that, she's shameless. She will do that. But I hope the public refuses to move beyond Caylee. What happened to her? No matter how polished she's trying to be, Nancy, people still see that headline. People still remember. And so this is going to be very challenging.
It's not a headline, cheater. It's not just a story. It happened. A 2-year-old little girl, and she was wrapped in her favorite blanket and thrown into a swampy trash area down from the home. That's what happened to Caylee. It's not just a headline. It's not just a story. Let me ask you something. You've got a Substack, and it's doing really well.
Thank you.
She has somehow amassed at least 10,000 subscribers to her Substack. According to reports, she's raking in $100,000 a year.
Just from Substack, guys. This doesn't include anything else that she's doing on the side, her advocate work, the people she works with. I mean, she's never struggled financially. When you watch the documentary, you'll see what I mean. The people will just want to throw money at her. But then again, look at Gypsy Rose. Look at Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose is just rolling in the dough. And for what? I know, Larissa. I know. Larisha. All right. I got it. I'll get it one day.
How is this happening?
Yeah, let me explain it. So on Substack, I have about 10,000 subscribers too. On average, you get about, if you have 10,000 subscribers, about 1,000 to pay in. They pay $8 a month. So do the math. It's $100,000 a year that she's earning here. If people want to pay to listen to what she has to say, they'll do so. And Substack is a platform, for better or worse, that allows people to have a voice. And I'm grateful for it. I imagine she is too, but there's no control over the content.
And if you guys don't know about this case, we're not just showing random pictures of her. These pictures are her during those party days where Caylee was missing in the 31 days. She's having herself a good old time.
That you can provide on this medium. You can sit down, you can write essays, you can write stories, and people will pay to follow you. And that's what's happening in her case.
Well, all I know is this. She may have a Substack. She may get $100,000 a year. She may have 10,000 idiots that are paying to read her Substack, and she may write a memoir. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Rob Sheeter, that night, she will be having supper with Satan.
That's it. You've summed it up. At the end of the day, she knows what happens. I think a lot of us suspect we know too. And no amount of PR, no amount of Substack, no amount of interviews, no amount of novels, memoirs will change the truth. And we have to remember that. We have to keep reminding people what happened here, that this little girl has gone forever. And I think that nobody is doing that better than you.
Who is she?
All right. I think we're out. Let me see. Wait, I'll just say this. So, who is she's coming out? All right. May 1st, Caylee Anthony put the introduction. Imagine waking up one morning thinking it's like every other. And by the middle of the day, life changed irreparably forever. Imagine spending 3 years of your life sequestered. She's talking about her being in jail, prison, whatever, jail, fighting not only for your own life, but for answers about the child that was taken from you. Imagine being found not guilty after 3 years of public trial, and then she wants you to subscribe. All right. That's what she wants you to do out of that. She's disgusting. And I hope that less people fall for that, guys. I really hope a lot of people don't continue supporting her. On that note, Caylee never got justice, but at least we can put this out there, give her a name, let this generation know what the hell happened, and we'll be spotting her out in the wild. That was her back in 2011, and this is her reimagining herself now. Again, we saw Jen Soto out in the wild. Somebody took a picture of her getting her nails done. I bet you she walks around with a face mask all the time because people want to punch her. People cannot stand Jen Soto 2.0 of Caylee Anthony. But at the end of the day, justice for Caylee Anthony, justice for Madeline Soto. That's what we want. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time today to hang out with me. Membership gifting, super chat, super stickers. Thank you. I appreciate it. And happy Monday, Dale. Thank you. Love you back. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. I have a dentist appointment. Got to keep my teeth purty, and it might take a while. So don't worry. If I'm not back tomorrow, I will be back Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. Thank you. Bye. You guys have a wonderful night. And thank you so much. Good night. Love you, Sadie's mama. Golden Hen. Flo Joe. I cannot wait. Tomorrow I can watch your show. Thanks, Kel and Baha and Vivian and Mama Sage. I appreciate you all. Good night. I don't like the dentist either, but I like having pretty teeth. And pretty teeth cost money. But yeah, I don't like the dentist either. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?